I might as well start recording in case it doesn't go on to live stream properly. And we need to turn off the speakers so we don't get any feedback.
So we don't sound like a time tunnel.
Oh, Christ. Here we go. So anyway, welcome to CirclemakersTV. I don't know what these buttons do. That's gone into sleep now so that the fucking amp's gone off. Great. Now it's really gone off. And anyway, hello, and we hope that you like these amateur fucking efforts that we make every week. And we have an amazing show for you tonight. Much like, whoa, that was the bulb went in the film light up there, so now we don't have film lights. That's the fucking bulb just blew in the film light. Oh, it's all happening. Yes, it's all happening. Well, you can still see us. It's going to take so long for that to cool down. I might as well just carry on like this, I think. Probably the best bet. So, we have AgentS in the secondary co-pilot seat, and we have myself. We don't have any guests because, well, have a guess.
Can you hear me all right?
I don't think I can, actually. I don't think I can. Try that.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now we can, yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Okay.
So hopefully you can all hear us. But I'm going to have a stellar because it's going to be one of those shows again, folks, I'm afraid. Because I've tried about 20 people and about 7 of them just didn't even bother contacting us back. Another several said no thanks because they didn't really want to have their faces on screen. And a couple said yes, but it wasn't quite convenient right then.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have to do a phone-in show. So if you want to sort of get in on Skype or ask us some questions, we will endeavour to answer them for you. And
someone's saying, Gordy's saying, get Mark Fussell.
Well, I contacted Mark Fuzzell to get Julian Gibson's number, to get Julian on the show. I did have his number, but somehow, some way, these things keep on disappearing out of my fucking phone. So, yeah, so I don't have his number at the moment. So how's the audio? It looks like it's a bit loud, actually, so I don't know. Don't want it to clip. Is the audio clipping? Anyway, so would anybody like to Skype into the show? Because if you want to, you can do it by fucking around with software called Skype. And you have to install it, and some of you don't seem to know how to do that. So
not everyone's technical, Matt.
No, I can see that. Yes.
As per your intro.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I am quite technical. I just never bothered to fucking set it up before 5 minutes before the beginning of the show.
Preparation's your problem, isn't it, eh?
Yeah. So, right, okay, well, the camera's still sort of okay if we turn it up a bit like that. Right, so, who do we have online in the channel then? We've got, oh, no. Hang on, pressing the wrong buttons again. We've got Unix, we've got Cannabis.
Yep.
We've got Darthy and Gordy and Kernow.
Yeah.
Do you want to click on the people button and we'll see who else is lurking that
when
hasn't
did
said
I
anything?
did that?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. That's it. So we've got Happy Stomper, Hedgedread, Man-Made Man, Monad, Pixie Dread, Plan 9 and Roger CCC. So all good so far. I'm just going to bring up a chat channel for me in this window as well, so it might stutter a bit whilst it's loading up. Yeah, it's one of those shows today. I've been buggering about with my aircraft all day. And because of that, getting it running, then I didn't want to get back to the house too quickly. So but I got the aircraft flying. The engine is stuttering because fuel starvation. So being stood around for a long time has probably gunked up the carburetor. So I've got to clean that out. So I was taking off, and the engine was cutting out, and I was having to cruise around and glide back down. And then I was trying this a few times, and I managed to get back to the airfield each time. So my training as a pilot did work. It just goes to prove you can fly these things without engines, but not for very long. So
nice day for it, Darthy says.
It was a very nice day, yes.
Summer's day, wasn't it?
Very nice. It was too hot actually outdoors. I was lucky that I was in the shade of a barn actually working on the aircraft because it was quite hot and yeah.
Do you have a parachute?
Nope.
They're very brave.
No. To be honest, you wouldn't have time. You can only really use parachutes if you're operating quite far up, because by the time you let go of the stick, or if the aircraft was spinning out of control, you probably wouldn't be able to get out of the aircraft because of the forces involved. But I mean, if the aircraft was flying straight and level, you'd have to get the door open, which the wind force is quite hard. Plus, you're then going to push yourself out and be high enough to get away from the aircraft before you pull the chute. So to be honest, if your engine goes, you want to try and land the aircraft. It is the easiest way. Engines are usually the things that go. The airframe is pretty good. But anyway, we don't want to really talk about my aircraft all of today. But
Well, they're asking you for a picture of it.
A picture of my aircraft. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll see if we can find one of those then.
We've got one on here.
Yeah, so you can Skype us on CirclemakersTV. You can go to CirclemakersTV.org and you can Skype. Well, you can chat in the chat stream window. Sorry, live stream chat window. This is the first one I've had today, but I'm gonna have to gulp this down, and then it'll all start working again. Then, so yes, your live stream chat window is down here, and you can scroll down and you can detach it if you want to with a little button that's on the top right, and it detaches so you can actually watch the screen, the picture in one window, and chat in the other window, and you can keep track of what's going on that way. Wonderful. I don't like Stella Artois, shit. But there we are, that's all we had in the fridge tonight.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. So we have got something for you. I don't know whether we bring it up now or bring it up a bit later on.
Yeah.
But quite a few of you were interested in the Michael Glickman sort of comments we were giving last week, where we mentioned that Michael had actually stabbed a crucifix into a birthday cake commemorating the death of Dave Chorley. But, you know, I've actually looked this up now. It's in a video called Circle Speak, and we did explain that you can actually get this video Circle Speak. And, yes, you get, yeah.
Someone's just put that on the old...
Yeah, but it's not picking up a picture, is it?
No.
I tell you where you will find it is if you do a and do just G-SLAK, yeah, and then just do images. There'll be one in there because there's loads of bloody aircraft.
Oh, yeah.
Look how many fucking photos there are of my aircraft online, and none of them are taken by me. They're all taken by aircraft spotters, and the aircraft spotters. Well, you want to make it full screen.
This is actually your plane, is it?
That's my aircraft.
No way.
Yeah.
First picture.
Yeah, they're all those ones you'll have seen on that screen. Control plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
Right, here we go then. Let's see if we can get it to come up. That's about it. That's my
Sorry, guys.
Control plus.
All right, don't get
Control plus.
frustrated.
Control plus.
Shush.
Control plus.
Sorry.
Why did you scroll down the scroll on the side?
Look.
Scroll.
Don't
on
be
the
so
side.
anal.
Scroll on the side, the scroll bar.
Yes.
There you go. Well, you know, this is what you get when you don't pay somebody to do the sitting in the other seat.
Exactly.
You pay peanuts, you get fucking monkeys.
Oi,
Sorry.
says Mr. Prepared.
Oh, well, at least I put the bloody show on.
Yeah.
That's my aircraft. So you can come back if you want to go and have a look at another one now. Go
All
and have a look.
right.
You know, slave woman.
Yeah, fucking, you got a bee in your bonnet, haven't you?
Have a look at that second one in. That's me when I flew over to France. So, yeah, okay, we'll go to that. Just leave it like that. That's fine. Let's get rid of the title so you can see. So I flew over to France. And I think that's, was it Lid Airport? Lid is on the coast near Dover, something like that, just before I went across the sea. Anyway, you don't really want this to be a Matt's photo gallery.
Thruster.
Thruster, yes.
Do you know what? I'm starting to, do I say it? Question sexualities in this chat room. There's lots of innuendos happening from a particular member.
You can stick it in my endo anytime you
Yeah.
want. Yeah. Hey, so, right, who's asking anything about crop circles as opposed to my aircraft?
Well, Plan 9 saying still wouldn't go up in it, though.
Who were?
I was going to say earlier.
Don't knock it till you've tried it. Yeah.
That's a bit camp, Matt.
Yes.
I was going to say to you earlier that it's not the first time you've come home and said your engine's conked out whilst you were...
So this is not the first time I've come home.
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Oh, look what I've got.
Oh, God. It's going to be one of them, isn't it, eh?
Fruit. Special shaped fruit. Down, down, down. It's not rehearsed, this show, we just happen to have, pull the skin back.
This is the workings of Matt's brain. You're seeing it live.
Yeah.
Plan 9 thought that was funny.
It's a Michael Glickman banana now. Look, it's all Jewish and hasn't got its skin.
Can't we
Oh yeah. Let's
stab it.
Let's get the crucifixes out and look and fucking stab them in the banana. Let's fucking do it. Yeah.
I think that's very scary. Which you'll talk about later.
So sorry, I'm eating food whilst I should be talking. No, that's not very good, is it? Really?
It's the emergency banana. If all else fails, break out the banana.
I really shouldn't be eating this actually whilst doing it. I'll tell you what, let's go to this video clip then we've got of Michael Glickman. And the basic premise is this is the Glastonbury Symposium, and he is on stage giving his lecture, his sort of big lecture of the weekend, and they decide to bring out a birthday cake, and then he starts singing Happy Birthday for the death of Dave, out of Doug and Dave, and then he does the dastardly thing of stabbing this crucifix type thing into the cake, and everyone seems quite excited and happy by this, but the thing to note is that in this Circle Speak video, I'm fairly certain they edited the footage so that you don't see him daggering it in. But I've seen it. I've seen the footage where you see him daggering it in. And I think what they did is because they knew it was like, ooh, dear, they didn't really want to show that. Yeah. They've actually edited it so that you can't see it. Oh, look.
Can I just say something? Before you play it, oh, look, you're going on. Oh, shut up.
Go on. Have it.
What was I going to say? Just watch the footage, because when you've spoken about cult leaders and things, I always thought that was a bit like exaggerated. But me as an outsider looking in, I find this clip quite scary in terms of if you actually watch it and think about where this person comes from. I don't like it.
Yeah.
See
Here we go. Anyway, let's bang him on and see what he's got to show. So I hope the audio will come out. Let's just check.
No, there are words to this. Happy birthday, dear Doug and Dave. Sleazy scoundrels whose lies spawn 10 years of falsehood. Happy birthday to you. And now, finally, lay this bullshit to rest.
Dark old shit, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dark old shit.
You can just see where he goes to stab it, and it's edited.
And then they cut away. So.
Yeah, and then of course it's in the cake when it goes back.
Yeah. So there you go. It's actually quite a good video. If you can get hold of a copy of it via whatever means, whether that's purchase it or anything else that allows you to get it, it is actually quite a good video because it does speak to circle makers. Look. And it basically fills in the blanks for a lot of the questions that are being put out there. But I do think that circle makers were in some ways made to sort of look at, they tried to put across like, oh, well, these are the circle makers' claims, but look at Mr. Wonderful Michael Glickman, and look at all the wonderful stuff. And I kind of thought it had a little bit of a sort of hint that, oh, aren't the circle researchers good and what they're doing is good, whilst not dismissing us. It wasn't actually, fully acknowledging us either. So anyway, what are people saying in
Roger CCC is saying, watch where you put the banana skin, Matt.
Yes, well, I won't be going down my underpants anyway, put it like that. Whoa!
Oh, fuck.
Fuck, here we go. I'm now soaking wet with Stella. I've tipped the fucking Stella half onto my lap. I'm now fucking wet.
Starters, you mean to go on?
God alive. Right, anyway, this show has to pick up somehow. It's got to pick up. I'm going to say, if we can't get a guest for next week's show, I'm going to call it off. And we'll just have no show next week. So I shall try my best, but if we can't get a guest for next week's show, we'll take a week off because, I want guests for this show. It's not the Matt Williams bloody show after all. I mean, much as I'd like it to be, I'm not.
It's an effort for everybody, isn't it? When you haven't got raw material.
Yeah.
For us to talk about it and for people to listen to it when there ain't, a big thing going on.
I didn't tip the whole lot. I just tipped, about an inch
a few
worth.
Sips worth, yeah. Smoke the skin, Swim says.
Yee.
Darby says, I don't think it's a religious cross. It's more like a gravestone rather than a crucifix. The sentiment behind the action is very dark, though.
Yeah, well, he was
And
grabbing it like a crucifix.
Yeah, but if you actually see the whole bit where it's not been edited, you will see how he does it.
And he actually goes bang in like that. And that's the point. Is I haven't got that bit of footage handy. I don't know where that was, but yes, basically, I mean, it is out there in the open somewhere. Somebody's got that footage. But, right, does anybody want to Skype in? Have we got any Skype interest?
Who's Monad?
Who's Monad? I don't know.
Do we know? Monad.
Monad?
Do you want to say a few words?
Yeah.
Who else we got in there?
Yeah, but has he said he wants to?
No.
He hasn't?
Well, no, it's an empty comment. Oh, no, it's a hyperlink. Oh, that was of your plane.
Oh, right, yeah,
so
okay.
This chap must know you, or female.
So, if anybody wants to Skype in, we shall take questions that way. It would be interesting to get people to do that.
Have we had Unix on yet?
Don't know. Skype? No. So, I mean, any of you guys, Unix, Cannabis, Gordy, we haven't heard from you, Kernow, Monad, Roger CCC, and Plan 9. Yeah, all of you. We've never heard from you guys before. We've heard from a couple of people on here. But anyway, we'd like to sort of get you asking some questions rather than it just being us. Because
Unix says, I'm here. Do you want to call in, Unix?
Yep, just give us a bell.
Not sure if you're male or female.
Are you on Skype? Have you added us as a user? If you have, by the way, remember to turn your live stream audio down. Otherwise, it will feed back and we'll get a terrible 10-second echo. So, bit of snuff. Right.
Oh, hang on, one request.
Yeah, there we go. So somebody wants to be added, probably. Okay, right. We got. We got Cosmic Nikki. Is she actually on the?
Yeah, she's.
Is she?
No, offline.
No, she.
That must be from earlier then.
Yeah, she's had. Yes, I say now that would be a funny caller if we
that
get hold of them.
confused me. I was going to say, is that your sister or something? Because it was.
No. I know who that is. But come on in. Add us on. So what's been happening with crop circles? Well, we're getting close to the start of the season. It's not far away now. It's usually in April that we get rapeseed. So I'm going to try and scan around and have a look for which fields might be up for getting crop circles in them, and we'll report back when we get some sort of rapeseed up, so that people can know that it's time to get out there, and if they want to do things, they can do things. Not that we recommend you do illegal activities, but with permission of the farmer, of course. Then you can go out and make crop circles. So, right, blimey back, that aircraft link wiped me out. Oh.
Was it a big...
he must have crashed his machine, yeah. Some aircraft link that we had in, yeah. So, right. Right. And anybody got any questions then in channel? We'll make this a 2-hour show tonight.
Well, we always manage to do it, don't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, but we did quite well with... Once somebody mentioned stomper boards, then I thought, right, yeah, stomper boards, let's do it. So what other aspects have we got? I mean, you get out there in the dark, your eyes adjust to the dark, you've got to have your design. How do you do the designs? Well, we've shown the designs. How do you operate the stomper board? How do you... sorry. How do you keep in contact with people at night? Well, you generally tug the tape is a good way rather than shouting, because with the noise of stomping going around people, generally, rather than make a loud call out, you just tend to sort of pull the tape once, which will get somebody's attention. And when you come round to the point where you want them to stop, you either pull 2 or 3 times. So you sort of go 1, 2, 3, and that means like stop. You're going too far, so that stops people. That's generally a technique that people tend to use, and I think that these things have just automatically been gravitated towards. That people haven't sat down and really thought this out. It's just common sense when you're out there that you'd use techniques like that.
Roger CCC's got a question for you, Matt.
Okay, so if you want to direct questions at us as well, if you put like Matt or AgentS in capital letters before you type, and then we can easily pick those out then from the chat window, so that's great. But Roger CCC says, last year you reported that the Circle Makers had boycotted the central area. Any gossip about this year? Well, I think it's fair to say that speaking to one of the big Circle Makers, that there was talk about perhaps not doing anything for the large part of the beginning of the year, but I get the general impression that won't happen now. I mean, that gets bandied around, that idea, sometimes, but this particular Circle Maker, who has done a lot of stuff in the past, came up with this great idea last year, which is, well, let's not sort of be, in some ways you might say, spiteful and say no fucking circles, no circles. And what he did is he thought of a better idea, and he's like, well, if you want to get your point across that it's people doing this, if you stop altogether, then somebody's going to make 1 or 2 circles, and then everyone will say, oh, see, there's a couple of circles, those are real, and they'll just go like that. So it doesn't really serve your purposes to do this stopping thing. So feelings run high, and Circle Makers do want to get their point across that they are making the circles, that humans are making the circles. So what he did is he had this great idea, as Roger CCC points out, that he wouldn't make any circles in the normal areas of Alton Barnes and Avebury and up to Cairn and down to Pewsey, right? All that area was going to be out of bounds, no circles for the greater part of the start of the season. And we did advertise the fact that this was going to be the case, and that there wouldn't be circles in the beginning of the year. And lo and behold, that actually came to pass. There weren't any circles in the area. They were as far down as Stonehenge. They were sort of near Warminster, and over sort of far north of Pewsey near the M4, and there were a lot of ones all around the edges but not in the centre. And it kind of proved the point, really, without having to stop making circles, proving that people are making them because that statement had been made. Now I do believe that this wasn't passed out, this information wasn't passed out amongst the researchers, and certainly wasn't given out to the public, because that would colour people's opinions, wouldn't it? Into saying, well, fuck me, it must be people, after all. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. So what did the little scumbag researchers do? Keep it to themselves. Don't talk about that. Don't want to talk about that, do we? No, of course we don't. But the point is that the point was well made, that it is people out there making the circles, and when those people decide that they're going to move them, they move. And I think it's very lucky, really, that the Circle Makers don't actually move them completely out of the area altogether, because it would be quite hard for a lot of people to travel. But I think that was part of the point, was not just to make them out of the area, but it was also to give the farmers a rest, because a lot of farmers had said that they'd been having too many circles appearing on the same bits of land. And I mean, if you look at like last year, it gets quite crazy, really. I mean, you've got the East Field, might have had 2 or 3, and the South Field, and underneath the White Horse, that was just completely full of crop circles. And you got sort of 3 or 4 circles in some, what you could say is basically the same space of a field. So it's getting a bit crazy, really. And I think just to give the farmers a bit of a break, certainly at the beginning of the season, of course towards the end of the season, you got the circles in those fields. But at the beginning of the season, it was just an attempt to kind of ease it off a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, does that mean that circle makers have actually got quite a lot of control?
Yep.
Like in sort of recruiting their artists, if you like, because that's quite a big thing, I would say, that probably hasn't seen much attention. For a circle maker or circle makers to say, right, this is the scoop, no circles in this bit of land this year, and for that to happen, that's quite impressive, I think.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, it is quite good that they can pull that off and say, well, let's not do them down in this area. But you're basically talking about one main circle maker with his team of helpers.
Do the other teams not have that then? So
they
if Team Satan come along and said, right, we're not doing any in this area, or whoever the other teams are.
Well, they didn't get involved. To be honest, I mean, this is the thing, right? I mean, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn by saying this, but it's the truth. The circle maker who actually made that statement that he didn't want to do the stuff in the area is somebody who's probably outputting single-handedly, with his group of a few helpers, but they're outputting probably about 80%. Yeah. 80% all year. 80% of everything that appears, at least, if not, maybe more than 80%. Yeah, that's just one team. So that person decides that he's going to make a statement. That statement is going to have a big impact because he's got a big say. The point is that some of the other teams that came along later on in the year, they didn't have the same idea that they wanted to do that, and although they'd heard that things were being moved out of the area, they didn't feel obliged to have to do what this particular circle maker was doing. But I mean, that particular circle maker started the season off last year and worked to the latest period at the end and was working consistently throughout the whole season. So that will tell you, just how dedicated they are, just how many circles they made last year. So, working right from rapeseed, early stuff, right up into maize, right at the very end. And, I think that's fair for me. I'm allowed to say that circle maker is basically doing most of the stuff that appears out there. And not all the brilliant stuff. When you got the middle of the season, June, July, and August, you get the really complicated circles. That circle maker's doing some of those, and there's other teams coming in doing those as well. Really complicated big stuff. But they tend to come down, in the holiday season, right at the the peak period when you've got barley and wheat. There aren't many teams that actually like working in rape seed, and certainly in maize, because maize is bloody horrible stuff to work in. But so that particular circle maker, who basically, you could say on balance, is practically owns the circle maker status for Wiltshire and the surrounding areas. So that's just one person, very dedicated artist.
I was just thinking there, like Andy P says, it's time to move to new counties, Matt. Oh. And I'm thinking, if through CirclemakersTV or through some other channel, it was known to researchers that circle makers were going to take the circles elsewhere into a new county, wouldn't that allow for researchers to make a crop circle? Because the attention that would cause. So I'm thinking what I'm saying is circle makers are a victim of their own success in a way. Because if you did all go to a different county and moved circles away from Wiltshire, a researcher surely would say, oh, I can't have that, let's go and do one ourselves. And because they haven't got the experience, they'd probably fuck it up. But that would be all that they needed for their next book.
Well, this is true. I dare say that if pushed in far enough, some researchers probably would start making circles themselves in order to. If they haven't already, yeah. I mean, I think that's a definite possibility that they could do that. But oops, shit. I think that moving them out of Wiltshire would probably mean there was less aerial photography work done, because most of the people who take the photos are prepared and ready to get into Wiltshire. People like Steve Alexander could probably zip around in his helicopter up to different places fairly quickly, so he could go to a lot of places. But I mean, it does add a lot in cost, because unless you've got a local pilot that you know is ready to take you flying over the particular circle, if it happened to be up in Oxfordshire or near Birmingham or somewhere like that, once you start to get up that far and beyond, then you're talking about only 1 or 2 researchers having the money to actually go and take an aircraft from Wiltshire all the way up there, or to go up there and hire an aircraft in the area and fly around it, which is not always very good, because if you've got a pilot who's well used to taking people flying over crop circles, they know when to turn, how much to turn, and where to hold the turn around, so that you can get the photos you want. Otherwise, they might be going back and forth and saying, "Where do you want me? Oh, too far to the right, was it? Okay, we'll try it. Oh, that was too far to the left, was it? Okay." And they're going to be cocking around, wasting a lot of money. So it's, in the past, things that have happened, say down in where are we talking about now? Medway, for instance. Medway that's Essex, I think, isn't it? There's been
Kent, isn't it?
Kent, yeah, you're right, Kent. Or I think you're right.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Medway's had lots of crop circles appear there, and they're very nice crop circles. I think I may know the people down there that are doing them, but put it like this: I mean, they just don't get photographed from the air. The circle makers themselves can't afford to hire aircraft, and they're hoping and waiting and relying on researchers flying the aircraft, but it doesn't always happen. So the photographs don't get taken. So you get photos at an oblique angle taken from a nearby hill, and you can just about see the circle, but it doesn't really have the impact of proper aerial photography. So on the one hand, yes, it would be interesting to see more stuff taken further away from Wiltshire, but at the end of the day, I mean, there's only, I've got an aircraft now, but it costs a lot in petrol to fly around. But I mean, who else is there? I mean, who else would have done it? Who's done it in the past? Not many researchers have actually bothered to do it and fly that far.
To your knowledge.
To my knowledge, so yeah. Oh. So what have we got then? We got Andy. Oh, we got Andy P. I think that's Andy Perker. Yeah. So, by the way, if Mr. Perker wants to Skype in, we'd be more than happy to have you on the show, sir. If you've got some stuff you would like to chat. It was Andy Perker who said it's time to move to new counties, Matt. Yeah. Actually, it was, yeah.
And it's AgentS, Andy P.
Yeah. So, what have we got? Swim. So, was that the same team who saw the black craft? I believe that particular circle maker did see something for the very first time last year, and it was like a black triangle or something like that he said he saw, and it sort of darted off at the edge of the field, and he's never seen anything like that before. So it was a very interesting year for that particular circle maker, and it might foster an interest or a belief perhaps in these strange things, which I know that particular circle maker was kind of like on the fence about it, about the paranormal side of things. So certainly I think they believe that other people see things but had never seen anything themselves. So having had their own experience for the first time, and that was good for them. So all right.
Plan 9 said there doesn't seem to be much activity in Hampshire these days.
No, I think this is the trouble, It's who's prepared to take the photos. Busty Taylor, for instance, he's based in Hampshire, but he's had a little bit of illness, and I think it might have affected his license, whether he's allowed to fly. I'm not sure about this. I could be wrong here, but I think he has managed to beat his illness and be able to fly a bit, but it's not like he has the same sort of instant access to aircraft like he used to. I mean, so Busty was one who used to fly quite regularly, and I think he's kind of reached retirement age now, so it's kind of like the money isn't there quite as much as it used to be. And sorry. That's the
Well,
snuff.
maybe we should allocate a new photographer and get you to fly over.
Well, if anybody wants to come flying with me, they can, if they're a friend of mine, they can share the petrol, and I'll go flying. All I have to know is that the photographs are going to be given away, not sold, because otherwise it's then classed as commercial.
But how good would that be? It would be a free industry and no money making out of it.
Yeah, well...
That'd piss off a few people, I'm sure.
Well, people like Steve Alexander will still hire a helicopter because that's what he does. And to be honest, his photographs are great. He's one of the best photographers out there. I wouldn't want to cut into these people's little sort of enterprises that they've got. They do it for selling postcards, whatever they're doing, their calendars and this sort of stuff. I must be honest. I think Francine and Lucy, their photos are okay, but I think Steve's, I'm quite partial to Steve's stuff. I think he does actually take very good photographs. And he spends a lot of money to get it right with helicopters, because you actually linger in the right areas and take the correct shot.
Do you think he would come on the show then to give his ideas about the industry?
Did I haven't contacted Steve. Yeah,
I'd like to hear from a photographer.
Yeah, we could ask Steve.
Fill in some blanks.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with Steve. You never know. I mean, the trouble is though, being associated with the Glastonbury conference each year, and Karen organising it, and them having people. Well, I think he's not friendly with Glickman now. I think Glickman might be off the agenda. If anybody knows in channel that's the case, because I seem to remember some sort of problem between Glickman and Steve Alexander coming up. But right. Crossbone says this 8 p.m. start is killing me. Oh, right.
What have I missed? He says.
Right. Oh, sorry.
I assume it's a guy.
Well, yeah. The 8 o'clock start was something that a lot of people requested because we were going on quite late.
Yeah.
And some people said they had work, so
I've started work now as well.
Yeah, I don't mind when we start, to be honest, and I'll start at 9 and go till 12 o'clock. I don't care, but some people say it's a bit long for them. So, right. Oh, Monad says the Alexanders have no connection to Glastonbury anymore. They do the summer lectures in Devizes. Ah, there you go. Right, that's it. Now, I think there's been some sort of split up between them and Glickman, which ain't fucking surprising because he's a prick. So, he tries to control a lot of stuff, and probably they've had arguments about what should and shouldn't be done. So Glickman probably still gives Glastonbury lectures, but he's not in the ones that they do called the summer lectures in Devizes, which is Steve Alexander, his own ones.
So based on that then, the Steve Alexander could come on the show then? I mean, it could only do him justice, really, couldn't it?
Well, it could, but, it's whether or not he offends his audience by speaking out on a circle-making show, about circle making.
I don't believe that flirting with both sides of a coin is, gonna get you into trouble kind of thing. I think surely you would be admired for looking at both sides of a coin. He's I don't see how he could get himself into trouble for it. Unless it was like the Glickman clang, where it's me or no one.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with Steve that he actually has made circles, and he did these in order to test whether or not Levengood could tell the difference between a man-made circle done by Steve and Karen as an experiment and the so-called real circles that are out there. So they made a formation, and I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I might be right. I'm just trying to think now. John Holman from... Oh, God, is it called Operation Right to Know? John Holman might have done it with this. With Steve and Karen. They made this formation, kept it to themselves, sent the samples in to Levengood. Levengood said, "Oh, wow, great formation. Yes, loads of energy. Yes, definitely a real one." And then they went, "Well, actually, we made that." And then, all hell broke loose then. All fucking hell broke loose because Steve and Karen were called all the bastards under the sun. And they were, oh, how dare you try and, fool the researchers and and it's like, and then, of course, what happened next? Levengood turns round along with Nancy Talbot and says, oh, yeah, we knew that was man-made. We knew it was, actually.
Saving face, that's called.
Yeah, saving fucking face.
There's a few people, Kerno's saying, told me he had never, ever been in a circle. Somebody's telling Porkies.
Who had never been in a circle?
And Andy P says it's Glickman and King now. Here is their latest blog.
Yeah, Glickman and Gary King. I mean, fucking hell, Gary fucking King. Yeah, nice one. This guy, let's bring that up on screen so people can see. Oop, where is it then?
Oh, hang on, play.
Are you playing it now?
Oh, can I or not?
I don't think you'll have. You might have audio. Hang on. I would say we'll just show a few seconds without the audio because we could get into trouble. So this is for review purposes only. This is not us copying the footage. It's just for review purposes. But there you go. That's what you get if you log on to their channel. But I'm not going to show any more than that.
Yeah.
I think under fair usage rights, you can actually show a brief picture of something video-wise, but you can't show too much of it. So that's
We'll all save that link and watch it later.
Yeah, so you can go and watch that link on your own. Yes.
Who's the doorman?
Who's the doorman?
The guy in the clip.
Oh God, yeah. Gary King he came out and said that one of the formations we did in the East Field, it's one of the ones that was done down in the East Field. The upshot of it was filmed by not infrared cameras. A guy called Winston Keach had set up a whole array of these cameras up on the hill, and then I think this was discussed in our first or second show with Agent D. Basically, there was a flash was seen from the field at about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not the best of memory people, so I'm just saying, giving you 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that in the field. There was a flash of light, and this was actually Agent D setting his hair on fire. Then basically, then they realised that there was some sort of flash in the field, so they all looked at the cameras and took great note of the cameras. But when they looked at the film footage later on, there was a jump in the footage, which I believe was somebody pausing or unpausing the tape unit, which because the time code actually changed. And they said, oh, that was a time jump. The time jumped when we were recording it. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. And, you could actually see the formation forming in the field. If you fast forward through this footage, you could actually see the formation getting bigger as time went on. And of course, Gary King turns up at the press conference, and this fucking press conference, they turn around and they say, oh yes, you can't see any formation in the field, and then at 3 o'clock, suddenly, bang, there's a formation there in the field, and it's like, what? Are you fucking kidding? And it's like, hang on a minute, I just turned the contrast up on my computer screen. I just enhanced the contrast, and I could see the formation being made all the way through from, before 3 o'clock when it suddenly jumps and you've got this little delay of the pause of the tape. And they were going on saying, oh yes, we didn't see anybody in the field and all this sort of stuff. And it's like you can see people moving around and you can see the formation being made. And Gary King is a fucking prize prick for coming out with that statement. And then after it was proven that you could see by contrast enhancement, because I made the statement, look, if you contrast fucking enhance it, just turn the fucking brightness up, for fuck's sake. Yeah, and they all went, oh yes, you can see people in the field. But they didn't do another press conference to say, oh actually we take it back, we're a bunch of dickheads. They're like, oh no, we'll just run with that then, we'll just let everybody think that's the way it was. And because of this, somebody who was involved on research for the case, guy from Norway, can't remember his name now, if anyone remembers in channel who it is, guy from Norway, he actually contacted me, had a chat about what had gone on that night, and he said, yeah, well basically, when we got this footage, we looked at it on a laptop, And I mean, I said, well, you can't really see very well on a laptop, can you? Unless it's a really good one and you're in a very dark room. And he's like, no, we couldn't see anything on the, you couldn't see anything on the footage we were giving out. So basically, they hadn't analysed it properly before they actually made these statements saying, oh, that you couldn't see anybody in the field. So this is how far the research goes, with these people. But Gary King, was there banging on, being on interviews. He's like, no, definitely could be man-made. No. So, yes, quite a character there. And subsequently, the next year on, they set their cameras up again. And exactly the same thing happened again. Another formation was filmed being made. And they said, oh, you can't see anybody. And it's like, yes, you can. You can fucking see. Again, you can see the formation being made. So I honestly don't know what the deal is with this Winston Keach and his night vision cameras, but they're not very good quality. You can't really make out what's going on. You have to contrast enhance it. It's very fuzzy footage, but he's telling everybody that this is the state of the art, high definition, latest, cost £20,000. £20,000, you were bloody ripped off, mate. You get bloody security cameras on the side of buildings higher quality than that crap. So, yeah, whatever. But, yes, Terry Toughness, that's right, Terry Toughness. When he realised that he'd made a mistake and that you could see people in the field and you could see the formation appearing, he said, I reversed my opinion on this. He said, I totally understand now that was man-made, not got a problem with that. And he actually pulled back and removed himself from the research and, as you should do, telling the truth, yeah? But it didn't stop the others from running with it and trying to push. And, this is the type of thing that goes on. So thanks for that. So Man Made Man came out with Terry Toughness. Yes, Terry Toughness. That's the one. So, right, if you want to send us a message that you want us to ask out, then basically do it in capital letters. And, well, somebody's saying to me, how much did my night vision goggles cost? Now, know from last week, I don't want to discuss my night vision equipment.
He says no problem.
If you want to know how much they cost when you buy them new, they're about £3,000. And that's if you know where to get them. And that's not in this country, and they have to be imported, and you have to have a military import license, which I don't have. So, yes, you're not supposed to have them unless they're imported correctly, but I know somebody that can get hold of them.
I know somebody
who knows somebody, so yes. But that's...
Had some from Russia once, Crossbone says.
Mm. Yeah, to be honest, I've seen a lot of Russian kit. I've seen a lot of that stuff over the years. I'm not that impressed. Nothing really matches the American equipment for resolution and light clarity. And the Russian ones often have picture defects. You'll have like splodges or marks that stay there when you're moving around, so that they're not that clear. But anyway, this year, let's see what we get this year. I'm going to use this stuff and we'll see what we come up with.
Well, Kerno says he's got a military metal detector.
Right.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I must sound really boring, but I always wanted a metal detector.
You wanted a metal detector? Yeah.
Imagine all the things you can find on the old planes and stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people made a lot of money around this area because I think they had a treasure trove found, didn't they, in this area?
And sovereigns and all that.
Loads of money.
Crossbone says he has a MiG. I wonder what... Is that a type of metal detector or something?
Might be a brand name of Russian metal detector.
I'm thinking of a plane from Top Gun.
Yeah, that's a MiG.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a MiG. So, right, anybody want to Skype in? Keep on asking, but, come on, Mr. Andy P.
Kerno's
you want to.
Kerno's one is looking for bombs, so that's not going to be any good.
Right.
Right, yeah, who's going to call in? Crossbone, why don't you give us a call?
Yeah, if you can.
You're offering a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
Do you have Skype? Or Kerno?
Or Mr. Andy P?
Plan 9? Any of you want to call in? Pass some time, share the time around?
Yeah.
found a coin by the entrance and took it home
So, yes.
to West Kennet. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Crossbone says Skype locks his computer up so he can't do it.
No. Is that because you're playing the live stream in the background? Anybody else? So, no Crossbone. Unix must be a bad PC. So, Unix has Skype then, and it doesn't crash his PC.
Yeah.
So, let's have you in Unix.
Yeah, come on then.
Yeah, come on.
Right, Roger CCC said that Andrew Collins had analysed that footage. So I assume when he says that footage, he means the footage from the Eastfield of the looking down whilst the circle was being made in front of people. I think it was it the OM that was being made? Was it the OM? I can't remember now whether it was the OM that they were doing or it was another one. But yeah. So here we go. Andy P says he's been trying, but he hasn't had a chance to get his headset sorted out yet. So yeah, and Roger says, Kernow says his Skype is very unpredictable.
All these excuses.
Yes, Roger CCC says the OM. Yeah, that was the one that the team that were on the very first show. That was Fanny and Bob, wasn't it? Bob and Fanny. They created the OM, and it was actually Fanny's design. Well, it was designed like a Fanny. No, Fanny's design. She actually has it around her neck as a necklace, so you never know. If you spot somebody with one of those as a necklace, just walk up to them and punch them. Yes, and you never know. You punch enough of them, and you might find the circle maker. So
I think I'm being thick here, but I'm assuming that Unix has given us his Skype name. So I'm actually trying to type it in. Yeah, okay.
No, that wouldn't be him because
Really?
No, there's somebody. No, it would be nobody.
Well, it's there.
Well, yeah, there's a user called Ubuntu. Yeah.
Ubuntu.
Oh, try Ubuntu Linux with a space after it.
I did try that earlier. Hang on, Ubuntu.
Yeah.
You can't have space, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Really?
Try that one.
No, it's nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, it can't contain space bars.
So, Unix, what is your
I'm in disguise. Well, give us your user then, or call us, and we'll take your call.
Okay, I mean, he might be saying that's what he's using, because that's an operating system, Ubuntu Linux. So maybe that's what he's trying to tell us. So.
He's talking operating systems. I thought I was being too presumptuous.
Well, look, we're on CircleMakers TV, I think, as our... is our Skype name. So you contact us and get us on your list, and then ring in, and we'll get you on the show. So
Circle Square.
Yeah, how many people we got looking in? Can anybody tell how many viewers we have at the moment? Right, we've got Advabassa, who's a new one.
No, he's not. We've had that before.
Well, he's new in tonight.
Yeah,
We didn't mention him earlier on. But everybody else...
24.
24. Oh, right,
15
okay.
in chat.
Well, it's going to be 20 next week if we don't get a bloody guest, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if we don't get a guest for next week's show, I think we'll just put it on hold until we do get a guest.
At what point do people know whether we're broadcasted or not?
I'll if I haven't got somebody by the afternoon, I'll put up a message on the Circlemakers TV site, and I'll send out to all the people who subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll let you know that way. That's the easiest way. If you want an email, I did offer that people could email me, and I'll put you on a special email list, but only 2 people did. So I tell those people about when the shows are on. But if you want to email into me at thematthewwilliams.com, that's my personal email address, and then I'll put you on the list for Circlemakers TV information. So you only have yourself to blame if you don't find out then.
Got a comment there from Circle Square, Matt.
What's that?
I watched the light ball footage over Oliver's castle and how the orbs made a formation. Can't remember the researcher's name. I'm not sure what's being said there. I haven't seen it.
Well, that is that's been it's not been debunked. I mean, it's not been debunked because to debunk something is to sort of try and pull something down. I mean, the bloody guy who made it admitted to it. So it wasn't that somebody came along and said, "Oh, I'm telling you, this is man-made." The actual guy who made that footage of Oliver's castle with the balls of light that go round and then the formation pops out, that is made by a guy called John Wabe, Wabe, and he worked for. I don't know if he works still there, but he was a graphic designer working with computer graphics, video graphics, so moving television graphics, computer stuff, for HTV, which is, if you're from abroad, HTV is in the southwest of England. That's the HTV region. So this guy who worked with computer graphics all day long decided that he would take a bit of home video footage of the field without the formation in it, and then he said, well, he went back to the studio and then put the formation in there and superimposed it and then revealed it so it looked like it was being drawn and put these balls of light in. And this was actually covered by National Geographic. In fact, I believe it's favorited, or I've talked about it, under Oliver's Castle. If you go to my channel on YouTube and you look up Oliver's Castle footage, I actually tell you the link. But if you go into YouTube and type a search for National Geographic Crop Circle Oliver's Castle, you might see that piece of footage. But
being a government agent, you're gonna say shit like that, aren't you?
See if you can find it. See if you can find it.
Do you want to get rid of this page?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, if you go to YouTube. Yeah, and see if you can find it. But yeah. So
what, Oliver's Castle, balls of light?
Yeah, but you don't want the actual footage of it, because we all know what the footage looks like.
So what am I looking for then?
You want the guy admitting to it. So it's National Geographic. National Geographic. Yeah, and then Oliver's Castle, I think.
Oops, Caster.
What the anyway, fuck? Right. So what are people saying in channel? So, yeah, Monad had picked up on the fact there's John Wave as well. So Circle Square says, cheers, Matt. He played with the contrast. He played with the contrast. Well, what he did is he made a big mistake in the way he actually rendered this footage, because when I saw it on the day that it was released, I went to the pub and people said, oh my God, you can't come and see this footage, it's fucking amazing. And I looked at it and I went, that's done on a computer. And everybody went, what are you on about? You don't know what you're fucking talking about. I said, no, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. That's done on a computer. And I said, it's not even done well, because when you work in like the graphics we're doing now, this is known as progressive, i.e. it's 25 consecutive frames per second. Although actually on this it probably works out to be about between 15 and 25 frames a second. But basically it's consecutive frames going bang, 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 25 frames a second. Now video footage is very different, because it's 25 frames and every other pixel is classed as what they call an odd or an even field. Yeah, so sometimes they call it odd and even fields, and sometimes they call it fields. Interlace is the technical term for it. But basically, every other line down, every other pixel down is odd. So odd, even, that sort of thing. So it goes down each pixel, and basically the television will take each set of odd fields and even fields and display them as faster running footage, basically. So 25 frames a second is decoded by the television, which strips off the odd fields, then the even fields, and then displays AB very quickly in that 25th of a second. And the next 25th of a second that comes up, it strips off the A and the B, and then it goes AB very quickly in the 25th of a second. So effectively it doubles up the frame speed. Okay, so 25 frames a second, because of this AB in the 25th of a frame second speed, becomes 50 frames a second, and that's what television is. It's 50 frames a second. It's 60 in the US. It's actually 29.97, because the stupid bastards can't work, God knows why they couldn't bloody make it a round number, but in America it's actually 29.97, so it's 59 point whatever, or 58.9 if you have interlace in the States. Anyway, the bottom line of this is that his camcorder, he's walking around with his camcorder, and he's happily shooting and going, oh yes, oh, very nice. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it goes cut, and then the footage is cut on the tape, which could be a pause pressed and then pause depressed. But if you look off the frame, when you watch video on a TV, round the edges of the frame, you don't realise that actually there's more data off the edge than you're seeing. So up here, there's more data than you can see, and there's more data than you can see, and there's more data than you can see. Now up the top, you get these little dots going up there, the digital data, yeah? That's teletext. Teletext is hidden away up the top, okay? So you get the time code is sometimes stored up here as well, and you get other information at the bottom. Now, the frame will show you what type of device it was recorded on, because the frame will be a certain size, and on some cameras it might sort of stop at a certain point, and on different recorders it might go out a bit wider. So when you look off the edge of the frame, you can tell that somebody's actually edited something in on a different piece of equipment. So that's the first thing, is that the edge of the frame will show you that you're dealing with something that's been edited in. So it wasn't shot on his camera, so this footage he shot wasn't shot on his camera. Right. Second thing is the quality of the footage changes, because when you take video footage and you edit it back to be progressive, so you're not running at 50 frames a second, you're now running at 25, because he shot it on his camcorder at 50 frames a second. Then it's been edited in a studio at 25. Now, he would have had the option to do it with full interlace, and that would be 50 fields a second, but for some reason, only known to him, and he was an expert in video, but for some reason only known to him, he decided to do it in 25 frames progressive. So what you end up with is something that changes quality. So he's shooting with his camcorder, or so he says, and then all of a sudden it goes click, and it changes quality. And you can tell because it looks a bit creamier, and it's running a little bit more stuttery because it's running at 25 frames a second now instead of the full smooth 50. And if you've got a keen eye, I know these things because I've done a lot of stuff with video. If you've got a keen eye, you spot that straight away. Take it back home and put it on the computer and look off the edges of the frame, and you see that it was actually a different frame size. Dunk, dunk. So it was obviously edited somewhere else, not in his camera. Now, if he shot that on his camera, as he says he did, then why was there an edit? And how can the camera go from being 50 frames a second down to 25? How could his camera do that? Yeah, video cameras, and he was using a high 8 or a high 8 camera or something like that. But those types of cameras basically never had the modes to switch down to this 25 and even 24. Like modern cameras, modern HD cameras now can shoot at 25 progressive or 24 if you want to give it cinema effect, because cinema film runs at 24 frames a second. So you can give a cinema look to your footage. His camera didn't have that, so you could easily see it was bollocks. I told people in the barge, be careful, because this is a setup. Yeah, you know, you're getting set up here, and this is this, but they wouldn't listen. And Glickman was like, "Oh, it's fucking one." Oh no, actually, I got to slow down if I'm doing a Glickman impression, haven't you? if you say like, "I'm Mr. Glickman," it was wonderful. It obviously doesn't work. You've got to go, "Oh, it was wonderful."
And wait for your applause. Yeah. Circle Square says, so his commentary was pure lies then?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the guy John Wabe disappeared off the scene after he had deposited this footage. You know, he was nowhere to be found. But Glickman was talking out of his arse because he didn't know what he was talking about, and most of the people who were enthusing about that footage were just the normal type of uninformed, usual run-of-the-mill crop circle researchers that don't know what they're fucking talking about. They want this stuff to be real. They want it to be real, yeah, really badly. Fuck the research, you know, let's go on opinions rather than facts, yes? And so that footage was definitely man-made. I warned people, but they didn't listen, so they all went out and said, yeah, it's great, isn't it, wonderful stuff. And then this guy came forward and said, yeah, I did it, you know, and did it on the National Geographic Channel. So it's all there for you to see, and he takes the camera crew to his studios in HTV. He wouldn't be able to get cameras in there looking at his office where he works unless the fucking guy did actually work there. You know, it ain't going to happen otherwise, is it?
Swim says, think Sorensen did a good analysis of it.
Yeah. So Sorensen, Peter was, you know, he did actually go with the National Geographic crew to the HTV studios when they filmed this John Wabe character. I think he actually went with them to HTV, so he actually was there as that was being filmed. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, you know, people that don't know much about video, they all think, oh yeah, I've got a little editing package, you know, I've got fucking Premiere and it's great, isn't it? You know, but what they don't realise, if you've got broadcast equipment and you can actually get in and look closely at the field information, and you can tell that one thing has one set of fields that are actually deflecting a certain amount, and the other footage that something has been superimposed on has no fields, you know, and this is a common mistake people make. They try to mix two types of footage together, and then when the camera shakes at high speed, it should blur in a certain, there should be a blur amount, yeah? And you can say, well, look, the superimposed piece isn't blurring when it moves, yeah? But the background that's been dropped on, the hillside and the cars driving below, does blur and has interlace. And the fucking UFO doesn't have interlace. This is the most common mistake people make if they're trying to fake footage. You know, not that I'm saying you should, but if you're going to do it, yeah, actually know what the fuck you're doing. And most of these people are just wannabes. They're just like, you know, oh, look what I can do. I've got a camcorder now. I'm fucking Steven Spielberg. I'll take you all on. I want to make millions. And then you always know the fakers. You always know the fakers because they've got a fucking manager, usually, within 2 days of shooting this fucking footage. A manager who no, you can't have that unless we get like at least 20 grand up front, you know, and it's like you can't even see it, you know. It's fucking, that's the hallmark of fakers, yeah? We want money in order to see this bloody footage. And I've seen so many fakers doing this over the years, and the number one thing you can say that is a hallmark of a faker is they think they're going to make money out of it, and they're absolutely determined to try.
Unix says the guy who filmed it has been missing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I know he lived in, well, if you want to try and track him down, he did live in the Oval in Bath. That's a street called the Oval. So if you want to go and see whether he still lives there, check it out. But
and Darcy says, did John Wabe ever explain his reasons for doing it?
He did on the National Geographic channel. He actually said that he went to the field, and I think he says something like, I just thought it'd be a good idea because of my background, what I do. You know, I thought, well, what if I superimpose the crop circle in the field with some balls of light? I just thought it'd be a good, fun thing to do, and to see what people would, how they'd react to it. Now, I think he says also, I've either heard this as a quote, or it might be on the National Geographic thing, but he has said that he wanted to interest his bosses into doing a documentary on crop circles, UFOs, the paranormal, and he thought that doing this bit of footage would get his bosses interested in the project. But it didn't seem to work out like that. So he had the footage, he did it, but didn't have anything to do with the footage. So he thought, well, fuck it, I'll just release it into the wild and see what people think of it then. But
to be honest, I understand the curiosity myself, because remember when we used to go up on Knapp Hill, is it?
Yep.
And there was a time when me and Paul Damon were knocking about a fair bit, and I'd bought, I think I've mentioned this before.
You were knocking Paul Damon?
No, I tried, I think. But
yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Well, and you didn't succeed?
No, I was rejected. But anyway. Win some, lose some.
Nullo impregnato.
But I've mentioned this a few times about importing these LED lights back from America. And me and Paul Damon were up on, is it Knapp Hill?
Like this?
Yes.
These type of lights.
So I had that, and I was stood on the hill going like figure of eight and going around in circles. And Paul, who was taller than me, stood behind me with a massive torch and was going over like that.
Yeah. And
we were watching the cars stop when they were coming down the hill, going crazy, like, oh my God, can you see it? Can you see it?
And it was producing lights like that actually had trails, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we changed the codes, like we had SOS, and that's it. Yeah. So
let me sort of simulate what it would have looked like. It would have been like that.
Yeah.
Let's do the colour one so that people can see what the colour one looks like, because it looks even better. It looks really freaky at night if you're shining these around. Look at that. Wow. You see? And then you can go ba-dump with the different colours. And then you get strange
so you can see
things.
what sort of effect that would be at night time.
Yeah. So That's what it would have kind of looked like. But obviously on a larger scale, and once people's eyes have adjusted to the dark, it would have looked a lot more mad than that. But just to give you an idea. So, yes, you were saying...
what was I saying? Yeah, no, just that me and Paul were up on the hill messing around with these lights, and we did it just out of curiosity. We had the lights, and the temptation was there, so we were messing about, and we couldn't believe how quickly people stopped, got out of their cars, and was like, "Oh my god!"
Freaking out. Yeah, people generally do. They do get a bit excited with this stuff. I think we've got somebody in channel who I won't say who they are, but I think we got somebody in channel who actually went very bananas when they saw very strange lights dancing around in the sky, actually in the sky in front of them, like UFOs, and coming round and sort of doing some amazing things, and sort of whoosh, and they were sort of zooming off at high speed and zooming about, and they were like, my God, and they were just, this is just amazing. And in the end, through a little bit of research, I think I may have had something to do with ringing somebody to find out who this was, and I put these people in touch with the person who's in channel, so I'll see whether they want, to reveal who they are. But basically, what it turned out to be were nighttime glider flyers who fly their gliders in the dark. But guess what? The gliders have LEDs on them so they can see where they are, and they fly them around at night. And all you know is you can see these lights, and you can hear them go, and you can, and if you're not aware of what these things are, they will really freak you out.
Yeah.
And it is like having a UFO display, but of course, because you can't tell the distance, it's at night, and these things are just the lights. The LED lights are actually illuminating, and the object that they're coming from isn't necessarily visible. What you're seeing is something maybe close to you, but you think it's off miles away in the distance, but in fact it's quite close. So as it's moving around here, you're going to think it's travelling miles and miles. You think that when it turns and goes like that, you'll think, well, that must have been a mile across. But of course, it's happening very close to you, and you don't realise this. Now, it was interesting that this was tracked down, and lo and behold, this was all observed from Knapp Hill, overlooking into the Eastfield. Now, I dare say they don't do this when there's sky watchers up there, because, well, it might have done it on a night that there were sky watchers up there, because obviously this person saw it, and it would have been the summer months. But I would imagine that if the sky watchers were there, that they would have made themselves known to the sky watchers so that they would have known what they were looking at. But yes, there are model glider clubs that operate in the Wiltshire area and probably other areas with these LEDs on them. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you might think you're looking at a triangular UFO. It's a possibility, because you think like lights on each corner, that's 3 lights, maybe strobing on and off, so it looks a bit weird. And when your eyes are adjusted to the dark, like you've seen, things that move quickly in front of you leave streaks, you see? So they look quite bizarre as these things are streaking around. But it's just food for thought for people who never knew that sort of thing goes on. It does actually go on. And so what have we got then? Okay. Somebody says they're going to drop... Oh, hang on. Andy P says, I'm going to drop a bombshell now and ask you this question. I know of a crop circle maker making a call to Julian Gibson after a crop circle was made, informing Julian of location, etc. Okay, then he says, continued on, is this normal practice? Well, I don't know which specific formation you're talking about. I wouldn't imagine... I wouldn't like to imagine which one, but I wouldn't say that's, I wouldn't say that's beyond the realms of possibility that goes on.
What is this? I forgot this. A circle maker's phoning a researcher.
Yeah. I would imagine there's a possibility that happens. You'd have to speak to the individual circle makers involved to find out whether that was the case. But I mean, I don't want to speak for circle makers on certain things like that, because I think they should do it themselves, if they want to come on the show and discuss those sorts of things. But I know, I'll say for myself, right, when I've made circles in the past, we have dropped hints to researchers. So take me as an example, and I know of other teams that have made sure that the researchers do know. Yes, the reason we want people to know is because we want them to get airborne ASAP, so that they get the photos before people walk into the fields and create what we call wanker tracks, which are these horrible lines walking across the field, because these people are so fucking retarded they can't walk down a tram line. They've got to go like a mosquito to somebody's fucking bloody neck. Yes, there's like across the fucking field, creating wanker tracks.
Yeah.
They can't even walk straight. These fucking tracks go. It's
But
like,
there's the matter of them getting mowed out as well by the farmer.
yes, and you've got to beat the farmer to getting the photos, because you never know whether the farmer will cut the bloody thing out. So yes, good point. So yeah, I mean, I would say that. It definitely happens, but I'm not speaking for other circle makers. I'm speaking for myself, what I know I've done in the past. So if you apply that to other circle makers, the likelihood is that for those reasons it's going to happen. So, somebody says this was the formation I believe he's talking about is Chisbury St. Martin's Chapel. So that's the specific one you're asking about. Okay, we'll have a look then. You're going to paste it in, or?
No, I've tried that link twice now. It doesn't
work.
No, so I'm trying a different tactic. So it's circle.
Butterfly Pice Crop Circle.
I'm just copying what's been written.
Right, we're going to have a look for this.
This one.
This link.
This one. Isn't it?
No.
No, Netherlands. There's a mention of Netherlands. In
Right. Are you talking? Well,
hang on.
I don't know. We're talking about this one.
Look.
Yeah, but are we talking about crop circle makers phoning researchers and that formation? Is that the one we're talking about? Because that one was made in the Netherlands, so we're not talking about Julian Gibson being rung by that one.
Who's asking this question? I think it's Circle Square. Can you, if you click and try and save the image, can you copy and paste the name of the image into the search thing, and I'll find it in the images that way.
Yeah. I mean, what you need
Google
to do
image
is
search,
what you need to do. It says Chisbury St. Martin's Channel. St. Martin's Chapel.
Oh God.
So, okay, who wants to Skype in? We've got about half an hour left of the show. We're going to finish it on time tonight at 10, so we'll have 2 hours.
Do you know, I've noticed you always get when people faff around, you get a bit frustrated. But when you make the mistakes, it's like all forgotten very quickly. Yeah,
No.
So, you're on about this one then, huh?
Bollocks.
You fucking know it.
Fucking
Look,
bollocks.
listen, pay attention. Are we looking at this one or not?
Right, okay, I don't know, are we?
I don't know.
Go on then.
I'm asking you.
Is it this one
You're
channel?
a circle maker.
Well, I don't know the names of these bloody places. I mean, people, I mean, various people call these. What do you do? Whoa.
Look, that's a plus. Look. Oh.
Yeah, but you haven't clicked on the photo itself. Yeah, now try it.
I'm just doing it to piss you off, Matt. Honest.
Because what you're doing is enlarging the picture in the background.
Whatever, Trevor.
Okay, there you go. Are you talking about this one? Okay. So this one, you think that this specific one?
That's the one. Yeah.
That whoever did this phoned up Julian Gibson. Well, I know it's been debated because some people have managed to get photographs earlier than it seems possible. That's what they say, isn't it? You managed to get a photo quicker than anybody could have possibly got a photo. So therefore, you must have known from the circle makers, because how could you have known that circle was there? And that's usually what people say. But I mean, at the end of the day, what people don't realize is there is a network of pilots that fly that do ring back to people like Julian Gibson, and when they spot these formations out there, they actually do contact back. Now, of course, I have managed to go out flying over certain crop circles pretty early in the day. But why do you think that is? Why do you think that happens to be? Because they're probably man-made, and maybe I know the people that made them. Yes, that's just a possibility. I'll just throw that into the mix there. Yes, I mean, maybe. So, okay, apply that principle to other people involved in crop circle research. Maybe some people are actually getting tipped off. Maybe Steve Alexander gets tipped off. Maybe Julian Gibson gets tipped off. Why would these people get tipped off? Why? Is it because they've got a working relationship with the circle makers? Or some people have alleged, but I really do doubt this, yes, that there's money changing hands, yeah? Now, I'm pretty sure that is not happening. So what you have to ask is, what's the incentive for the circle maker to do this? Is it monetary? Or is it that they want their artwork photographed, making sure that the farmer doesn't fuck it over and cut it out of the field? Yeah, and do they want it done early so that it's caught before people start trampling that field? Those are the incentives, I would say. So if a circle maker was going to tip off a researcher, that would be the reason. No money's changing hands, I'm sure of that. I mean, much to the dismay of circle makers. But I mean, let's face it. Circle makers need researchers to take the photos, because even I haven't got an unlimited supply of cash to go flying every day looking for formations.
Do you know what? I'm sorry, I don't give people enough credit on this, really, because there's all this talk about money being underhanded or whatever, and I'm thinking, look at the personalities that are involved in this industry. I'm happy to believe that you've got people out there that exist by operating somebody else's personality. Like a sneaky phone call to a researcher the only payoff for that might just be to make that person who's making a call feel adequate in some way in the community. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the personalities that are involved. Like, we've spoken about eccentric people and loony people with wild ideas, and people that just have lost the plot with it all. Who were you on about last week? Mary, centre of attention, goes to a meeting, she's like, come on, huff puff, it's centre of attention. You're talking about normal people, aren't you? We're not talking about calculating double agents or anything like that. It surprises me that people think that there are only two clans, which is the circle makers and the researchers. I think it's very naive to not think that discussions go on. Look at the time when I was on the farm, when the farmer's wife was hanging around with Glickman. I mean, looking at the footage, all I see is the farmer's wife, and I can see now, looking back 10 years later, what an influence Glickman was on this person.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
oh yeah,
I'm saying,
she wanted Glickman's babies almost, wasn't it? I mean, God alive, it was quite sickening to hear how Glickman was, a wonderful, amazing, godlike, bloody blah blah blah. It used to make me fucking vomit, really. Well,
I'm not here to sort of diss the farmers that I lived with at the time, but my point to illustrate is the people that we're talking about are normal people. We've got attention seekers, people that can't think for themselves, people that copy people, so of course it's going to happen. Of course you're going to get people that tip people off and things like that, and I wouldn't read too deeply into it, really. Someone says he's demonic.
Well, Mr. Glickman.
Do you know what? I'm not usually that harsh on people, but in this instance, I have those feelings.
Fucking chronic, I would say.
I feel that way too.
Yeah. Mr. Glickman.
I think we're picking on him quite a bit, aren't we? I'm conscious of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of picking on him. He's a fucking knob. He had his chance. He had his fucking chance on a plate. Come out and see circles being made before you get your fucking face rubbed in it. Yeah, and what happened? You know, he was like, no, I fucking don't want to come and see you making circles. And no, and in fact, I've got information that you made that circle, get you arrested, blah, blah, blah. Then lie to everybody, tell them that he didn't have anything to do with it, blah, blah, blah. And then say, oh, no, actually, I'm really proud of getting him arrested. Then ringing up my fucking landlord. You know, this is Glickman, yeah. Rang up my landlord, Bob Frierson, right? He's a farmer. And I was living in a Crown property, and he rang Bob up. I think, he might have even gone round there, Bob said. And he went round there and he said, oh, why don't you evict Matthew Williams? And he said, well, I don't want to. And he said, well, you should. He's a circle maker. And Bob said, well, I get on with him quite well, actually. I don't mind Matthew, and he hasn't made anything on my land. So I'm not actually really that concerned. And like Glickman was like, you fucking should. So Glickman, try and get me kicked out of my fucking house. Yeah, and all because he doesn't like the fucking truth.
Yeah.
He can't take the fucking truth because he's a con artist and he's the fucking hoaxer. He's the frigging hoaxer because he's had it on a plate. He's had the opportunities on a plate given to him to come out and see these things being done with his own eyes. He chooses not to, so he's a fucking prick.
But this is the issue with him. I mean, in my mind, all we're describing is a lonely old man, aren't we? Because take away the geometry and the science and all of that bollocks. All we're discussing is... We're talking about a person that is so arrogant and so lonely that he's so... You could not get him to change his mind about something. Like, he's full of spite, isn't he? Spite. And I almost want to say hatred, but that's the vibe I'm getting from different...
If anybody didn't
sources.
see the footage, I'll just show it to you again. We're just showing the footage from the Circle Speak video, which is from the Glastonbury Symposium, and this is just to fill people in, what Mr. Glickman can get like and what he gets up to in his spare time. He's giving a lecture, and he decides to sing "Happy Birthday" for the death of Dave, out of Doug and Dave, the two circle makers that started most of this off. And then he sings "Happy Birthday," and then he stabs the cake with what we could only describe as possibly a crucifix. You see what you think, so have a look at this.
Scoundrels whose lies spawn 10 years of falsehood. Happy birthday to you.
Watch that cross. Where is it?
Now the camera pulls away and then pulls back. Now that was a fake edit, because they didn't want to show him stabbing it in.
And look at the facial expressions.
He's happy, look. He's really happy.
This is power.
Happy he's just stabbed the cake. Stabbed the birthday cake for the death of the guy. Oh, very nice, Mr. Glickman. Well done, old chap. Well done. No, he's a dark fucking horse. He is a dark horse. It's
more than that. We're talking spite, aren't we?
We're talking about using religious imagery to fuck over somebody in terms of, like, I don't like you, so I'm going to fuck you over in a very religious way, But then...
I can almost see the razor sharp nails on his hands or something. You know what I mean? He's got that really creepy, I'm up to no good.
Yeah.
I'm here to cause trouble for people, regardless of the consequences.
I think he looks like a rat, to be honest. That's just a personal opinion.
Oh, that's getting really personal, though.
No, I think, I think...
Yeah.
No, I think the guy looks like a rat. He's got fucking huge...
I can't help it. I keep telling myself...
He's got fucking huge ears that come out here. He looks like fucking Mickey Mouse, doesn't he? I mean, Christ, let's have it, let's fucking put it on a plate. His scrawny frigging beard, his fucking huge ears, his massive gonzo fucking gonk. I mean, he's not exactly pretty, is he?
Do you know what? I'm out of character with this guy. I keep tapping myself on the shoulder saying, look, have a word with yourself. Stop, like, getting involved with this, this campaign to...
character assassination.
Yeah, and I just can't. It's taking over me. I must be under some kind of... Have you got some kind of hold on me, Matt? Are you making me have these bad feelings about this person?
Well, you're having these feelings probably because you know what it's about.
That clip has disturbed me.
It is. It's a very weird one. I mean, I don't know anybody who's watched that and hasn't ended up coming away thinking, hang on, they're fucking in a conference doing that. You know, it's like, oh, happy birthday to the death of him. You know,
Yeah, that's so troubling.
It's like, you know, and then that somebody says,
Disturbing.
well, it looks like, somebody did say earlier on, it looks like a headstone. You know, it looks like a cross of a headstone. But to be honest, I think the only reason it's that fat and wide is because it just would fall apart if it wasn't built bigger. And that's just the way it is. But I mean, it was gripped by the top. So it was actually gripped by the top of the crucifix. So, you know, it wasn't gripped by the middle. You know, it's gripped by the top.
Yeah.
And stabbed in. I think
At the end of the day,
it's a crucifix. It's
we've all
it's a
got,
religious symbol. It's a cross.
But even if it wasn't, he made it a religious symbol by how he used it.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the information you're being given. Like, my signals are usually pretty freaking good on things like that with people and stuff. And my vibe, I don't feel like I've been coaxed. I feel like this person... I tell you what it was. I think you had this idea about him, and you mentioned it a few... times ago, and I said, no, you can't think that way about this person. But even though I had feelings of it myself, I thought you can't go out and say that. But when I saw that clip, there was nothing to hide. For me, the decision was made as soon as I saw that clip. Like, yes, this guy, he sees himself as a cult leader. I'm not saying he is one, and I'd be giving him too much power if I said he was one, but I'm talking about how he's projecting himself in society.
Somebody says he's probably a Mason. Well,
no chance.
Masonry is, in fact, very heavily Jewish inclined. And anyone who says it isn't is a fucking numbskull, because it is. I mean, you know, it's very heavy amount of Jewish people actually in the Freemasons. Yeah, I mean, it's they basically use the lettering, which is the Hebrew lettering, as part of the symbology of the Freemasons. It is in Hebrew letters, you know. And anyone who says the Freemasons is not a religious organisation, right, is a fucking idiot, yes? The Freemasons themselves will turn around and say, we are not a religious organisation. We do not allow people to even have religious conversations whilst they're in the Freemasons. They're not allowed to bring up religion, yeah? Oh, yeah? That's why if you go into any Freemasonic lodge, what do they have open on the floor? Yeah, on a table? They have a copy of the Bible open there, yeah, in there, and they read from it. So how can they turn around and say they're not a religious organisation when they've got a fucking copy of the Bible there and they're fucking reading from it in their ceremonies? What the fuck? I mean, we're talking about lying on such a fundamental fucking level that I think people who are involved in organisations like that lie without even thinking about it. And yes, I would say that although I don't have any information to say that Mr. Glickman is a Freemason, that the way he fucking lies with impunity, he just doesn't even register. It's like, no, this is the way crop circles are, and that's the way it is, and I'm really happy about that. Yeah. It's like, fucking hell. You know, he's got the characteristics of a Freemason, for sure. So don't get me started on Freemasons.
But what was I going to say there? Do you know what intrigues me the most about this is, like, when you think about the presence that he's portraying, he's projecting this. When you walk into the room, people bow before you. It's in every part of him. You can see he's projecting that. Now, usually, someone like Sean Connery, someone like that, they learn how to do it through NLP and things like that. They learn how to put themselves in a nice place in their mind and how to have stage presence. There's like, how the fuck has this person got presence? Or how does he laugh at somebody's death and get a crowd to laugh? You know, how many people do you know that could do that? That I would like to know the answer to.
Well, it may be that the crowd already is predisposed to disliking Doug and Dave. That's a possibility, because the crowd that go to these conferences are haters, basically. I mean, they are full of hate. You know, they've got hatred for Circle Makers. They got hatred for Doug and Dave. I've been to loads.
Something more than that.
I've been to so many conferences. I mean, it's worth pointing this out. I've been to a lot of conferences where people literally say, "Oh, I'd love to fucking kill a circle maker, the fucking bastards. I fucking really cheer me up, that would.
But that's
what
on a
do you
completely
think?"
different
Yeah?
level to what
And
we're talking about.
Yeah, but they're talking to people and they're saying, "So what do you think about that concept?" And the other person usually goes, "Yeah, that would be good." Yeah, I've been to conferences like this, circle researcher conferences, when people didn't know that I was a circle maker, and some of my best friends that didn't know that I was a circle maker. We're talking about. Hang on a sec. Right, okay. I didn't want that name, but I want AgentS to know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to name the person on here, okay? But a good friend of mine, for many years, used to say that they would, and I'm quoting this directly, would kill a circle maker if they could, and they were well prepared to do time. What they used to say, this was the saying they always used to say was, "I would do time for a circle maker."
But it's words.
I know it's words, but Glickman comes out with words, and they're dark fucking words. And getting the crowd going and going like, yeah, kill him. Wouldn't that be great? Yay!
No, it's still on a different plane.
Ooh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of sentiment has gone out over the years into, if we could get these fucking circle makers and do something to them. Yeah, there's been a lot of that over the years. There has been a lot of that. You can speak to Rob Irving about some of this, and I know Adrian Dexter was very wound up when I approached him because he thought, I was going to attack him because he'd had so much shit over the years that he, when I came to tell him to be careful because there were a bunch of people in the barge, you see, this is an actual example. I was standing upstairs in the barge inn, and I was not known as a circle maker, right? But of course, I knew I was a circle maker, yeah? I saw Adrian Dexter come in. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, don't see him here very often, right? And then some people said, oh, see that fucking guy? That's that fucking Adrian Dexter, that is. That fucking circle maker. What a twat, right? I tell you what, should we fucking do something? Which car's he come in, yeah? Should we fuck his car up? Should we fucking slash his tyres? And there's this little conversation going back and forth between 4 or 5 people, on one side of the bar, and Adrian Dexter is in round the corner, yeah? And they're going, yeah, fucking, yeah, should we do, what do you reckon? Now, somebody that you know very well was there. That was, yeah. So again, I don't want to mention the names, but the person you know very well was there, and that person was backing this up, and was going, yeah, fucking do it. Fucking do it. Do the circle maker. Do him. Fucking, yeah. And they were all winding each other up. And what they did, in the end, I think they went outside and were going to put a potato up his exhaust, which can, cause problems. But I think, if you get it out, it can be okay. But I'm not sure if it will do damage to an engine. But anyway, I went round the back, and Adrian Dexter had gone down to the toilet. So I went down to the toilets and I said, hey, look, mate, listen, right? Fucking people up there are fucking going nuts, reckoning they're going to do something to your car. So you just want to just be careful, right? Keep an eye on your car because they're fucking talking about this upstairs right now. And Adrian Dexter was like, what are you doing? And he's like, get away from me, get away. And I was like, no, right? I'm just like, it's okay. I'm just fucking telling you, be careful. They're fucking talking about it, right? Anyway, Adrian Dexter thought that I was then threatening him, you see, and told people that I had actually come on to him and was threatening him, when in fact the truth was I was trying to warn him about these idiots upstairs that were wanting to do some fucking damage. So that's the type of thing you've got to be aware happens. And, this is one of the reasons, again, one more of the reasons why I want to do this channel, to show people that the circle makers are not necessarily the bad guys that you think they are, because some people out there, up until recently, wanted to catch circle makers and fuck them up. Yeah, and there's a lot of that out there.
My attitude still remains that there's no such thing as right or wrong, just the consequences of your actions. And I doubt anybody that isn't prepared to look at both sides of a story. If you are a researcher hating the circle makers and protesting against them without even trying to listen through a third party what they've got to say, and vice versa, a circle maker that has no interest in listening to what a researcher has to say on any level, I think both are as bad as each other. For me to look at you with any kind of respect or integrity, you've got to be able to do both on some level. that there has to be an indication that you've at least prepared. It's being open-minded, isn't it? Are you open-minded or are you closed-minded? You want all the other, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, there's the police helicopter on its merry way outside, if you can hear that. So, yeah.
Maybe they've heard that there's an old man on the loose with a machete or something.
Well, talking about
known
that,
as Glickers.
Well, yeah, I was going to say there was some girl went missing the other day. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I don't know if they've got hold of her yet, but in Savanack Forest, probably come to no fucking good, I expect. Oh dear, but we don't normally get things like that around here. It's quite a nice area, really.
Kerno said, I researched circles last year. Why would one ever hate a circle maker? But surely we're talking about this, aren't we? I left Wiltshire for 10 years because the influence the researchers had and the hatred that I got mixed up in circle makers. I lost my
virginity.
No, I lost that way before then.
Because of circle makers.
No.
Were they making inroads?
I didn't sleep with a circle maker.
I was going to say they were making other types of inroads to circles, but yeah, okay.
Look, you've lost my trail of thought now. What was I saying?
Well, the professionalism. You see?
Oh yeah, Matt, are you sure it's not a UFO?
What?
Helicopter.
Oh, the helicopter. Yeah, no, it goes out several times a day, or sometimes more. No, it's definitely a helicopter, police helicopter. We got the police headquarters right behind us. We live right next to the police headquarters now.
Circle Square says duck the police.
Yeah. But they've never seemed to catch anybody, They've got bloody thermal imaging cameras on their helicopter. And I can't tell you the amount of times that we've actually gone out into a field and we've had army and police helicopters coming straight overhead in a straight line, and they don't see shit. They don't see shit. They're instrument flying. They're not using their night equipment to navigate with. So that's only used when they turn up on the scene and they're trying to catch a criminal.
Okay.
But I mean, they would have an absolute opportunity to catch circle makers in the act if they were using that equipment, and they obviously don't. So I just put that forward to you because, I mean, we know that we've never been caught. And surely a police helicopter could just hover overhead, shine a beam of light down and chase people out of the field, or wait until the police come and then sort of shine the light on you, and the police would be there by the road trying to catch you on the way out, as it were. But it doesn't happen. Never happens. And I've seen them fly over many times.
Kerno says, watch out for some nerd on a bicycle. He tried to break into my car last year.
There was a lot of cars being broken into last year, and it was quite an interesting thing, because circle makers were being blamed for that, you see. In order to demonise the circle makers, people often say things like, oh, that Matthew Williams, he's very violent, and he come out to me and he do, and it's like bullshit. I've heard loads of people say things like that, and I've heard, lots of nasty things said about circle makers. Now, one of the things that was happening was cars are getting broken into. Now, the reason the cars get broken into is because the local criminal element are not fucking stupid. They know that people are coming from all over the world to this area with their camcorders, with their MacBooks and their laptops and their, money. Their money. They've probably got money in the car. They're travelling in a car. They might be staying in a tent or a hotel, but they've got money and goods on them, yeah? And they're breaking into the cars. So be careful if you leave your car in one of these places in the summer. I mean, you might as well not hide things, yeah? Don't put sheets over them or don't put coats over things, because they'll assume something's there, yeah? I mean, basically, leave the car looking empty so they can see there's fuck all in the car. It's not worth it, yeah? But yeah, lots of cars were being broken into and lots of stuff was being stolen. But the twisted side was that the research community was trying to say, oh, see, that's fucking circle makers, That's the fucking circle makers, that is. Now, another thing that happened was honesty boxes were getting broken into and the money was being stolen. So the money from the honesty box supposed to be going to the farmer was getting nicked. But this is the best bit. Fucking honesty boxes were being put in fields, and they were nothing to do with the farmer. So fucking honesty boxes were being put in there with concrete on them, looking like the real thing, and they were nothing to do with the farmer.
You can't expect people not like this area to be excluded from criminal activity. I mean, Jesus, why circle makers and researchers are at war together? It's no wonder people are taking advantage.
I mean, one could almost say, researchers, they lie about the bloody subject in order to make money. And the one set of people who've never made any fucking money are the circle makers, apart from the guys from London, who do it for art reasons, a la, advertising campaigns and things like that. But, I mean, I think to myself sometimes, it's a bloody shame it wasn't the fucking circle makers that actually put those honesty boxes in the field, because circle makers have never made anything out of doing it. But then, circle makers don't have that mentality, they're not in it for the money. But at the same time, some of them have been saying, oh, but I'd like to fucking get a book out or something one day, but how can I do it? Because nobody knows who I am, and I'm not known, so therefore how can I get a book out, and how can I sell this book, and how can I prove that it was me that made these circles? Will anybody take that seriously? So, they're trying on one hand to make money, and they want to make money, they're trying to do that, and on the other hand, no researcher is ever prepared to pay a circle maker for a tip-off or anything like that. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't happen. It doesn't fucking happen. So, the circle makers give away the tip-offs. They give away the tip-offs for free. They give away the circles for free. And the only people who are making the fucking money are the criminals putting the fake honesty boxes in there, and the fucking researchers who are lying through their tits or arses or butt cracks.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, success isn't something that is owed to a certain individual in life. Success is something you go and get, and you get off your ass and you get it. If you want to write a book, then you don't put obstacles in your way and say, oh yeah, but people don't know me. It's like, fucking, get off your ass and do it, innit? That's what makes someone successful. Success will never be given to you.
Yeah, you have to go out and do it yourself. But I mean, this is the thing. It's a very strange subject. How many subjects do you know where the people that actually make the whole thing possible actually do it for free and never really get anything for what they're doing? I mean, apart from like sports, I suppose. I mean, people are doing it for the sake of it. They're playing sport because they enjoy the game of football. They're not going to get paid for it. But it's a similar sort of thing. But I mean, in terms of an artistic thing, it's an artistic endeavour which is temporary, and the artists don't make money out of it, and then a lot of them don't get credit for it. So it's a very weird subject, really, isn't it?
It's about what your intention is as well. I mean, you've got to know what your own intentions are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're confusing it, or if you're a secret circle maker and you don't give away the secret phone calls and stuff, and you keep your documentation, then I'm sure, if you understand what your goal is, then you can measure your success. But if you're someone that's been in it for a while, seen that people have come and gone, some people have been successful, and you say to yourself, oh, I wish I was that person, then you're not gonna win anything, are you?
Yeah. And Darthy was saying his mate went to a wicked acid party in the middle of nowhere in a forest, and all the cars got fucked over.
Saw that.
That happens a lot. You'd be quite surprised. That happens a lot. I used to put parties on with people, and we were in a forest one night. Check this out, for cheeky as fuck, right? We put the party on. We were happy partying, and then some people came in and said, "Oh, fucking hell! I thought this was supposed to be a free party." I said, "Well, it is a free party. What are you on about?" And they go, "Well, you fucking charging enough on the bloody gate, aren't you?" I said, "What?" And we sent somebody out to have a look, and I kid you not, there was a fucking Porsche and a Lamborghini parked by the gate, right? And there were a bunch of fucking bling bling fucking chav heads, right? With a Porsche and a fucking Lamborghini, and they were there like with fucking gold chains and all that, going, "That'll be £5, mate. £5. £5. £5."
I'm really sorry, but I got respect for that. I feel that's fucking brilliant.
I mean,
come on, if you're gonna bend over, you expect to get fucked.
The people who put the fucking party on get fuck all, and are doing it for free. Normally, at the end of the night, they'd hand round a bucket and say, like, if anybody enjoyed the party, chuck a quid in or something like that, right? These fuckers were taking the money and fucking off back to London.
I've used a saying in life. It's if you get caught, you deserve to be eaten. It's dog eat dog world. You've got to look at it. Now, don't quote me, right? If someone broke into my car, I would be pissed off as hell.
Yeah.
But I don't have that attachment, so I can look at it as an outsider.
Yeah.
And I think you can't blame people for trying.
Well, whoops, Daisy. Yeah. I think it's quite bad. I don't like that sort of thing. I mean, yeah. But there we go.
Shame on me, says Roger.
Shame on you, Shelley.
I'm really sorry.
Oh yeah, they seem to know something. Do they know something about you?
People keep mentioning it. Someone earlier on called me Shelley, and I said, "Excuse me, it's AgentS." Pete, come on, you've said Shelley enough times on this show.
Yeah, it's
I've
true.
watched it back.
It's true. So have we got any amazing points that we, well, this is the trouble. It's somebody saying about organisers, we may have to know how to raid the cars. But the point is, I mean, these people are way outside the party. So before anyone gets close to it, they've taken all the money. And these are the people that wait until, all the cars are parked and loads of people have gone in. And then they probably got a fucking crew of people breaking into the cars. So you can probably say that it's the people with the fucking Porsches and the Lamborghinis are actually probably the ones that are operating the fucking criminal gangs that are breaking into the fucking cars. Some people would say it's probably kids. Yeah, it's probably kids. But you might be fucking surprised. You might be surprised. It might be people with some fucking money doing it too.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. Like, everyone seems to be going down the line of, if we can understand who it is that's doing it, we can get it stopped. I'm thinking, if a 13-year-old girl walks down the centre of town at 3 o'clock in the morning in a little bloody mini skirt and she got raped, how many people are going to stand up for that little girl or for the parents and say, I'm really sorry? You're going to get angry people saying, who the hell would let their daughter walk out at that time in the morning in that gear? It's the same for your valuables in your car. How does people think in the 21st century that you are protected? Like, if you don't want your stuff to get nicked, you don't leave it in the bloody car, do you?
It's all down to your level of faith you have in society. I mean, if you've never been fucked over, you probably think that things like that don't happen, but they do happen. And the point is, it just depends how many times it's happened to you. I mean, I've got to say, I've got so fed up of having my car broken into. I must have had my car broken into about 15 times over the years. I've had all sorts of stuff stolen. I've had fucking thousands of pounds worth of kit. I got fed up with it. I got really fucking fed up of it. And I got to say that I think, on occasion, that the people who I've been with probably did it. The people I was with.
I wouldn't even doubt it.
You know what I mean? Because they knew what I had. They knew what I had in that car. And they knew that I was basically going into somebody's house for a certain period of time, and that car would be left for a short period of time, but it was enough time. Yeah? And I know.
I've said
I'm
this
fucking
to you.
certain.
You're soft with people. You should be a bit harder on them.
And people take the fucking piss, basically. And yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of stuff like that go over the years. So it tends to, it's taken me to the point where I say, well, do you know what? I don't want to fucking organise these free parties anymore. Fuck them. I've done it. I've lost a lot of money, and I've got enough kit left to put on a small party if I want to now, and that's it. I don't want to do it anymore.
Haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I had my car tyre slashed going to a party in Bristol. I had my car tyre, and I had somebody said to me, "Can I borrow your laser for a second?" This is somebody I know. "Can I borrow your laser?" Turned around and then went and fell over and threw it into the dance floor.
Accidentally on purpose. Threw it onto the dance floor, and then I walk in there with a torch, and of course nobody's seen it. Didn't come near anybody. Yeah, right. That just wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, call me fucking cynical. I have had people steal fucking things off me and fuck me around so much over the years that now I don't do much anymore.
Yeah, but
it's
this
actually
is-
made me a bit fucking pissed off and cynical. But
I'm
still
intrigued by this with you, right? Because you're quite tough. You know people. You get things done if you need to. You're like bloody Red. You guy that knows how to get things. You know.
Yeah.
You're big built. You can look after yourself. But you let people get away with murder.
But I don't. I just can't. You know, it's
You're
just
so
fucking.
patient with them.
It's just. You
Anyway.
expect better from people that you know. You know, you expect better. And you know you
I
can't you can't prove that people are doing these things because it's always accidents and things that go on behind the scenes and you don't see who's done it. But it really pisses me off. It's part of the reason I've kind of stopped making crop circles as well. You know, and now I'm doing this journalistic role and just enjoying myself because I've done the fucking hard work. I mean, I've done the hard work. I might not have worked as hard as some involved in crop circles, but I honestly feel like I've done the fucking hard work now, and now it's time to relax.
You've played your part, haven't you? You've played your
I've done
role
my
out,
bit,
as
yeah.
other people have.
And you know, you can thank the free fucking parties and the pricks and the wankers and the thieves and the fucking I'll say it, cunts, yeah. You know, the cunts, yeah. You can blame those people for now the fact that when they want to have things and they call, they get told no, yeah. A lot of people get told no these days with me, so you can blame that on all that.
So Kerno's saying, blimey, some mates, Matt.
Exactly.
You've had some shit mates, haven't you?
I have had a lot of shitmates, and I've had some mates who have taken the piss out of me so badly that I was almost prepared to get a fucking knife and stab one of them once because it just took the piss so fucking badly that I saw red. And I was getting close to the point where I was going to pick up a knife and fucking stab somebody. That's how bad it got. Yeah, people take the piss. So I told everybody I know to fuck off, basically. And, you know, whereas you used to have a lot of people coming around the house and things used to be quite busy a long time ago. You remember what it was like.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, they weren't really friends, a lot of them, you know. So
Yeah,
I told them all to fuck off.
I'm also aware that you've been treated so badly by your so-called friends, you don't even realise how bad they've been. Because you just, I don't know, you seem to take people at face value, don't you?
I do. I'm a little bit like that. I want to see the better side in people, and I think to myself, nah, they're not doing that. They wouldn't do that. They're not being like that. No. And I try to work, you know, what's going wrong here? What am I not seeing? I mean, you know, because I kind of think, no, people aren't like that. People aren't like that. And you know what? The older I'm getting, they say this happens to people. The older I'm getting, the more
Sucker.
fucking cynical I am becoming.
You're getting some requests now. Ava Baza, can he borrow your laser? Or he wants to borrow your wheels as well, which I'm sure you...
Oh, yeah.
happily,
I mean, I've had people take my cars and fucking smash them up. Yeah, I've had that in the past. And then they go, oh, I haven't got any money. Yeah, that sort of stuff, you know. So I can't fix this. And it's like, yeah, that's why generally,
no one.
Generally, I don't lend my car out to people because I'm too worried of the consequences of what happens if they fucking smash it up because they won't be able to afford to repair it. So I don't lend my stuff out, and I generally don't lend out my lights or my equipment anymore because I know that people don't respect it. They don't fucking give a fuck. And if they lose it, they'll go, oh, sorry.
Circle Square says only trust the truth.
Yeah.
But the issue I got with that is that people don't see the truth because they don't mark the alerts that happen, the alarm bells, you know? Like, all the times you've been pissed off, if I said to you, when somebody comes out as a someone you don't trust, you can speak to that person and say, when did they lie to you? Can you think of a time when they lied to you? When did they ever abuse your trust? And guarantee anyone that comes out as being a bad person, everybody, first thing they say is, yeah, I fucking realise it now. Remember that time when he did that? And it's like, you got to spot the alarm bells when they occur. So never take a person at face value.
Yeah, I mean, it just teaches you a lot, you know. I think when you're young, you kind of you do sort of accept a little bit too much, and I'm not quite so accepting anymore. I mean, I have been quite a ruthless researcher over the years, though. When I've encountered bullshit with research, I've gone in, you know, for the jugular on many occasions with people, and I've done it with crop circles really as well. I mean, in those early years, I was trying to protect people's fragile fragile egos and not upset them by saying, actually, we're making circles. But we were trying very hard as we could, to kind of say to people, you know, we know the circle makers are good people, so that people would accept that. But all I used to get from a lot of people years ago was, fuck those fucking circle makers, I'd do time for them, fuck them, and, you know, and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, whoa, hang on a minute, you're supposed to be love, light and harmony and peaceful, and, you know, and all I'm hearing is you want to fucking hurt people. I mean...
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. I can't believe... I'm just intrigued by you as a person, because I know both sides of you. And you have got a dual personality. You have got the tough nut. You think Glickers is fucking bad. Like I know how what a little bastard you can be, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
But then you know you have this other side that just
Well, put it like this: I know a lot of people from contacts over the years, and basically, you know, I hear a lot of things going on with how people deal with people when they do things wrong, and how they take the matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm very acceptant, you know. I'm very acceptant of people saying, like, I am going to get them and I am going to fucking tie them in a chair and hurt them. And I go, okay, that's your deal. You have to live with what you're doing, yeah? And in some ways, that comes across to a lot of people as very callous, because I'm not sort of going, oh, no, that's terrible, that's wrong. And I'm like, well, no, it's not my deal. It's their deal. They're the ones who wanted to do that. So if they want to go and do that to somebody, that's up to them. But they, as you said earlier on, have to realise the consequences of their actions, because if they do go and do those things, which are quite bad, they're the ones that have to pick up the pieces. And if anybody gets hurt or killed with doing stuff like that, you know, you've got your own karma, you've got your own conscience you've got to live with, and at the end of the day, you know, you might end up in bloody jail. So if you want to live your life in jail, then that's fine. But that's not for me.
If you don't want to do the time, you don't do the crime. So
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, on one hand, I mean, I can appear quite callous, because I say to people, yeah, fucking, you know, somebody's ripped you off. If you want to go and do whatever that thing is you want to go and do, good, go and do it. You know, good for you, you know, well done. Go and sort them out, because the world is full of pricks, and maybe some of them do need a fucking lesson from time to time. I'm not necessarily the person to give them that lesson, but, you know, I agree with people who want to go and sort out people that are wankers, because there's a lot of them out there.
But it does illustrate, though, how society, as much as we all complain and moan about it, everybody is... We're cushioned, aren't we? We've been wrapped in cotton wool from... You know, we've been hidden away from the muggers and the molesters and all of this stuff. And all I'm saying really is you're lucky this stuff don't happen to you every day.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, you know, don't ever catch yourself saying that person's wrong to do that or that person's right to do that. Just understand the consequences of that person.
Yeah.
Because that has an effect on how you behave as a person.
Well, yeah, it teaches you some stuff. I mean, I got to be honest now. I mean, I look a little bit more out for myself than worrying too much about other people's, you know, worrying quite so much about other people's feelings, which I think allows me to, allows me to do this channel, because at the end of the day, some people say, like, well, why are you doing this? It upsets the fucking researchers. Fucking good. Do you know what? Makes them lose a bit of sleep, pisses them off. You know, so what? What the fuck? Why should I care? Why should I fucking care about a researcher who can't get off their fucking arse to work out that crop circles are made by people? Why should I give a fuck about somebody like that? I mean, you know, it's like I gave a fuck about the person I knew who nearly committed suicide because they found out that we were making circles, but that was a long time ago, and that was a personal friend. But why should I class all these circles researchers as friends? They're not friends of mine. In fact, if you look at the way they talk about circle makers, in fact, they're actually my fucking enemies. So if what we do with this channel pisses some people off, I actually think that's quite good, because maybe they need to be pissed off. Maybe they need to be slapped around the face and woken up, you know, and sometimes you need to have a little bit of pain before you'll actually realise the truth, you know. And
have I depressed you a bit there, Matt? Your tone's gone.
No.
You okay?
No, and that's the other thing about, you know, you probably know this about me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sound quite, you know, angry a lot of the time. I think people think I'm angry most of the time, actually.
I used to think that.
Yeah, I mean, most people do. They think that I'm really angry all of the time. But, I mean, I always put it down to coming from Wales. I mean, you sound like this when you come from Wales. I mean, it's like, oi, butt, how are you? You all right, butt? What are you fucking doing then? Fucking hell. You know, and that's how people talk. And it sounds aggressive.
Yeah, confrontational almost.
It sounds confrontational when in
Yeah.
fact it's actually, you know, all right, but how are you? Fucking hell. I haven't seen you in fucking ages.
Yeah, because you talk like you're about to go right up in someone's face.
Fucking like that, yeah?
Yeah.
But that's the way that people talk where I come from. To be honest, I used to say it to my friend who used to say it to me. I used to say, well, I think you were exactly the same, and you come from Scotland. And you Scottish people, you sound like fucking aggressive, fighty fuckers. You know, it's the way you talk actually, you know, makes you seem like you're on edge and you're going to explode. And in fact, inside, I'm not that fucking wound up, really. It's just I'm animating the way I'm talking to get points across. And then it might seem like I'm actually fucking just about to blow a fuse and you know, get a machine gun. But not really.
Ariadne says, can anybody tell me what the subject of this week's live stream is meant to be?
The subject of this live stream this week is why nobody will Skype the fucking show. Yes. That's the subject matter this week, yeah? It's why nobody, apart from me, seems to know how to plug in a microphone and a set of headphones. I don't know why this is, but it's a strange phenomena, along with black holes and black holes and time travel. You know, it's people cannot seem to connect microphone to a computer and get Skype working.
Perhaps we should say we'll tighten the show to 2 hours exactly if nobody Skypes in, so everybody loses out.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to go now because although it's starting to get a bit more interesting, people are asking questions, we did say we were going to go. I maybe won't do a show next week if we can't get a guest because, I mean, at the end of the day, this show has been about me waffling on and AgentS here helping me keep it going. So, you know, I want people on the show, but I mean... How I have to be like a researcher, ringing these people and begging them, and then they're going, no, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll think about it. Ring me tomorrow. And it's like, oh, so you only come? Oh, I thought about it. No, maybe not. No.
Can you list the people that you've approached recently, just so people know?
I'm just trying to think now.
Reg Presley.
I sent an email to Busty saying could he ask Reg and would he himself come on the show. He has said that he just doesn't feel up to it at the moment, but he hasn't got back to me about Reg. So that's Reg. I know that the circle makers from London, John, I've tried contacting and he's not responded. So, you know, I know that he doesn't like me going on talking about circle making full stop because it seems to sort of, you know, dent his bloody, you know, he is the master fucking circle maker of the world type scenario, and he doesn't like me doing this, so I don't think he's going to want to come on the show, which is unfortunate, but he's been given the opportunity, and I think, you know, he's definitely a figure, but I just don't think he wants to do it. That's my personal opinion. So maybe he does, maybe he's just not getting my emails, but I think he is. I'd like to get Dave I'd like to get Doug Bauer on here. Dave's no longer here. I'd like to get him on, but I've got to go through Rob to do it, you know.
Rob, is that right?
Rob.
No.
John. Sorry,
Yeah.
what am I saying? Rob.
Which you've done.
I've got to go through John Lundberg, who won't pass on any details to
Well, you don't
him.
know that he won't. He just hasn't responded.
Well, he hasn't responded, but he told me before that, you know, he's not going to let me speak to him. So I mean, that still stands. That still stands. So you know. Then you got Rob Irving said he would come on. I would love Rob Irving to come on because he is a real character. I mean, you're talking about a class act. You know, he puts it across in a great way. I thought his interview on the Circle Makers video was superb. You know, he had plenty to say, very interesting. You know, so I don't think we're actually missing much by not having John Lundberg on anyway, to be honest, because I mean, if you look at John's interview on the Circle Makers video,
I'd like to
it
hear
was
what he has to say.
quite short. You know, it's like, you know, what else is there to say? You know, I mean, I think probably Rob has more to say. He has more to say.
Can I say, and I think he might, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. I hope he does, because I don't think he's been interviewed enough as well. That's the other thing. I mean, his name is known. He's written about in books, but he hasn't done many interviews like on programs like this. And I mean, what better way to get to know somebody than to have 2 hours or more than 2 hours of bang, bang, bang chat with the people, I mean, he's a legend of crop circles, and it'd be great to see a legend like that actually get the opportunity to speak. So who else have I asked? I'm forgetting now. My brain is seizing. I have asked. There was Matt. Remember Matt, the other Matt? No, not supposed to say. But yeah, Matt. So Matt said no. He wasn't that interested. Said he'd rather keep himself to himself, and and I said, there's a lot of figures like that. I'm still waiting for Ron Russell to agree, Colin Andrews to agree. Might be able to get something going by next week with those, hopefully. I mean, either Colin or Ron. There's Simeon Hine. These are stateside researchers, obviously now. But they've all had a big involvement with crop circles over the years, so I'd like to get them on. And there were a number of names. I mean, I actually contacted them when somebody sent me a big list, and I actually went through the list and did it. I haven't had many responses, if any, to be honest. So it's not looking good. Not looking that good at the moment.
This is the danger of not carrying on the show, isn't it? Because if it gets a bit quiet and we don't do the show, then eventually when people have got more time and this is forgotten about, it's...
So there we are. I think somebody's Dorothy saying, Matt, I think the fact Rob joined the show earlier on the schedule, perhaps he could be up for a small chat. So, okay. Somebody saying David Icke as a suggestion. Well, I know David Icke. I mean, I did his videos for him, his early videos. I created the 6-hour marathon videos that he did years ago.
Do you think he'd come on?
He might. He's a very busy bloke. But I mean, what does he know about crop circles really, apart from maybe his misinformed opinions that he had years ago when he might have thought these things were made by aliens, and he's spoken to a lot of channels. I know that he's spoken to people who channel aliens and things like that, and they all say, oh yeah, the crop circles are made by us and we're from Alpha Centauri and we're really cool, and he's put that sort of stuff, that type of material has ended up in his books. Not exactly like that. I'm not paraphrasing very well there, but I don't know what would he say about crop circles. What would he say? I mean, what would he say now that people are making them? Does he think that's a good thing or not? I mean, he could give his opinion.
But this is the thing, though. It's like, I think someone just briefly mentioned it earlier. I mean, when you come across people in the fields, in the pubs, you might get 10 minutes, you might get an hour with them, just throwing back a few ideas, like pub chat or whatever. You don't really get to know who somebody is, where they're coming from, what their intentions are, who they are as people. And for people to come on here, I still think to anybody it's an opportunity, because people, you've got people's attention. They're listening to what you've got to say.
Yeah.
And people can learn from you.
I tell you what, I need to be slightly more organised, actually. I'm moaning that nobody's coming on the show,
Yeah.
but I need to be slightly more organised about how I do this.
Go.
I need to have a list and tick them off if they won't come on, and keep banging away till I get answers from the ones that are on the list. Because I've sent stuff off to people, but they haven't responded. I mean, Nick Pope would be a good one. He's written about crop circles in the past. I've spoken to him on quite a few occasions. I've ribbed him ruthlessly, and I was right. That Nick Pope was not the, albeit highest level in the MOD that was dealing with UFOs, and I actually fucking proved my point. And now Nick says, yes, Matthew, you were right. So I was fucking right. And I'd be interested to get Nick on the show just to say, well, okay, let's not like harp on too much about the past with that stuff, because, at the end of the day, I was proved right. And he knows I was proved right. But I'd be just like interested just to say, well, okay, let's have you on to talk about crop circles, because you've written about crop circles in your books. So what do you think now? what do you think now? What about crop circles then? But I mean, I don't know whether he's... I think he might come on, but I think because I've been rather ruthless with him in the past, in not nasty ways, but just very, very direct. I mean, he might think, maybe he'll think that it's just kind of like a setup for, making him look a bit silly. Wouldn't be the intention, but maybe, I don't know. I think we should just leave it up to him and see whether he will. But Nick Pope would be a good one. Yeah.
Crossbone. Matt, speaking of Nick Pope, has the MOD ever looked into crop circles?
Yes, the MOD has looked into crop circles. I believe there's even files at the Public Records Office on it, and when the crop circles were unknown, the origins were largely unknown, and Colin Andrews was investigating back in the early days, the MOD sent army teams to basically work with Colin Andrews. So back then, they were trying to find out what the hell this stuff was and where was it coming from, what sort of energy is creating this. And the army were out there with radar equipment, with guys staking out the fields, and night vision equipment, and lots of other electronic, devices to try and sense what was going on. They obviously came to their conclusions about what this stuff was, and that was pretty much at the same time that they actually worked out from Operation Blackbird, I think it was, that people just managed to create a formation in front of you, and you were all there, and you didn't even realise. And it's like, so, by that point, I think the MOD sort of went, yeah, okay, it's just a bunch of people, and they backed off. They weren't interested. So they had good sense, in that respect, to realise that this was just a bunch of people. And that's the way it was dealt with. But I think Nick Pope did look into the, possibility. But this is, he says that I think this is more on a personal quest, a personal level. Although he worked for the MOD and he had those resources, but I get the feeling from what I remember of his books that it was more his own wanting to find out, rather than what the MOD was saying, because there's a lot of things that he thought about the UFO subject that he still maintains the MOD weren't interested as much as he was, So there may be some truth in that, at some levels, but he would say he believes in extraterrestrials and UFOs, as actual craft, and he is interested in the abduction scenario. Whereas he says, and there may be some truth, that the MOD themselves upstairs aren't actually that interested about that stuff, not as much as he is. So but it'd be quite interesting. We'll see if we can get Nick Pope on this. Get in touch with him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming up to past, so we'll knock it on the head now, because we said we would. Otherwise, we're going to make it a 3-hour show again.
Yeah.
So okay. If anybody wants to contact these people on our behalf, please feel free to do so. If you want to contact somebody and get them to come on the show, just get in touch with me on CirclemakersTV.org. And just tell me who it is and put them forward. I've not got a problem with anybody really coming on the show, as long as they've got a good point of view, a strong point of view. So even if you want to say crop circles are real and can't be, aren't made by humans, that's fine. Bring it on. Bring on your opinion. We will talk about it. I'm interested to hear people's opinions, even if they aren't exactly what I would say is going on and what I would believe. But I'm interested in what you have to say. So, yes. So if you've been tuning in tonight, thanks very much. I hope it's been...
They were telling you to keep going. Don't stop.
Oh, you want me to keep going.
No,
but some people say... Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Keep the show going, mate. Okay. Well, all right then. I mean, if you don't mind there not being a guest and it being us...
That's the problem, isn't it?
That's the thing, it's like think of subjects so that you can questions you can ask us, or subject matters, subject lines you'd like us to go down, and place them at the beginning of the evening. We'll do our best to talk down those avenues and explain things. Otherwise I'll just go on another Glickman rant, which I find very easy to do.
Yeah, that's it. We need what's the word? We need input, don't we?
Yeah. We need spazzy hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. we need this.
No, you're spazzy. I'm the hand.
Involuntary hand movements.
I think people are happy. I've just got back and opened a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Well, you should have opened it an hour earlier. You could have called in.
Yeah. Should have sent that bottle of wine to us in the post. Speaking of which, actually, if Mr. J, Jeremy or whatever his name was tuning in,
Haven't done his
I
t-shirt yet.
haven't sent the stuff off because I am that fucking slack. I haven't sent the competition things off to you yet, but I will try and do it in the next day
And
or
I'll
so.
try and do your t-shirt as well.
See, it's not
I'm
just
in
me.
work for 8 o'clock, and what time to get in this evening?
Yeah.
6:30.
Well, you shouldn't go getting a fucking job then, should you?
Well, you know, I like money at the end of the day.
Well, you haven't had any yet.
Well, I'm fucking making
Still
it.
waiting to be paid your first paycheck.
Yeah.
And then you'll find out how much tax they've taken off you and you'll wish you hadn't fucking bothered.
Yeah, but I still be on more money than yow.
Yeah. Only just. Only just.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Okay, so there we are then. So yes, once the season starts, that's a good point. Once the season starts, we'll have something else to talk about. We'll have all the latest crop circles to talk about. And that's only about a month away. So yes, maybe our prognosis is that the show's getting a little bit slow here.
Yeah.
But you know, the show is not just us; it's you as well.
Absolutely,
You know, at the
yeah.
end of the day, and if I go like this, I can go like this and squeeze the head of the AgentS.
Yeah.
So you
well,
could,
we're only human at the end of the day. Oh, hang on, you're closer, aren't you? So that's not going to work.
yeah. No, I have the power to do this,
Hang on, I haven't got my bearings yet.
but you can't because you're not close enough.
Off me. Yeah. So yeah, we're only human, and I'm certainly not an entertainer. I don't have a lot to say really, even
Well-
though I could probably talk for England.
Yeah,
About
just
fuck
get
all.
us some subject matters that you want us to talk about, and you help produce the show as much as us because you know it's down to what people want really. If they want us to talk about certain subject matters, make sure you tell us.
Can you just respond to Crossbones? He's sent a couple of things now, and I keep forgetting to tell you.
Right.
About the bases.
Sorry.
See this one here.
Okay.
That one.
Oh,
It follows
Matt,
on at the
speaking of the MOD, I saw a long while ago the Truth Seeker thing, looked into secret bases in Wiltshire. I even went to look at the Caution Commuter Centre. Not a happy bunch there. No, they aren't really when you turn up, are they? Because it's this secret base out in the middle of nowhere, but it's got no signs on it saying, you know, keep out. And then when you wander up to it and you see that it's a bunker entrance going into the ground, and they don't like that very much, so you kind of sussed out their little open secret, you know, keep it in the open and don't put any signs saying keep out, and then nobody will bother, you know, and they'll think it's nothing important. In fact, it is. Yeah, so I'm glad you went to have a look at that. Yeah, not a happy bunch at all. But, yeah, what do we got? Plan 9 or Darthy? Matt, I would like a chat on Skype.
But he's not online.
Ian, you'll have to try and get online then because we're not seeing you as...
He says it. He says, I have a suggestion, but I can't get you on Skype, Matt. But you're there, but you're not online.
Double-click him anyway. It might bring him... It might sort of jig the system because Skype is a bit like that. Skype's... Press call. Yeah. There we are. Try that. Because sometimes, Skype, it doesn't always show people online. But it might do now.
So where is he now then? I know.
Don't know. So... Well, I think that's connected, isn't it?
It looks like
Oh,
it.
there we are. Can you hear us?
I am. Yes, I am.
Yes, you can hear us. There we go. We've got a caller, so you've managed to keep the show alive for a few minutes longer.
That wasn't my intention. I was.
I can hear myself on the television. Come on.
No, what I was going to say is, I was kind of hoping this call would come across after the show was over.
Oh, right. You want to keep
But
me up till
maybe-
3 a.m.
maybe,
again, do you?
Yeah, we've got lots of people here. Then maybe they can have their input too.
Right.
But people,
Yeah, go
Louder.
ahead.
Louder, they're saying.
Louder.
They can't hear Darthy.
Okay, there you go.
that's good because I've just made a fool of myself. I was just kind of thinking that maybe we could have a forum.
You want a
And,
foursome?
A
Is that what he
forum.
said?
He wants to foursome, he said.
A forum. That we
Oh,
can all
forum.
chat.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, and then
I just
maybe
thought
we
you were saying
chat-
something else
chat-
then.
Chat between the shows, and then that may give you some subject matter to talk about
True.
I think that's a good idea, to be honest.
between shows. I mean, I'm quite happy to do something like that. I don't know how we'd
You can
integrate
build
it. with
websites,
your-
can't you?
Well, I've tried doing things like this in the past, and creating sites and getting interest for people. We could stick it on the back of the CircleMakers TV. We could have a little forum there. I can create those things and back it on. The trouble is, it's getting people to actually use the bloody thing. So if I do it again and find that people aren't using it, then obviously it's not going to be much point. But I can try. Would you think it would be a good idea to do it on the CircleMakers TV website, or do you want to do it somewhere else? Because I mean the trouble is got to make sure that people don't get shafted over with their user details as well.
You should just use Crop Circle Connector, but then very well that I've tried to register with this website. Did you register me in email?
I did send a prompt email to you because there was a person. Well, you should have because
I haven't.
Well, yeah, but you should have because I did send it to you, and therefore you should have contacted.
3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, but you remember the night that you told me you had nothing from me?
Yeah.
I sent something to you there and then, instantaneously.
No.
See? There, I sent it, boom, there, and then, bang. And you still say you haven't got it.
And when you contacted me at work on Skype, I think it was, and you said, you asked me what my username was or something.
I will give you the details one more time, but remind me at the end of the show and I'll do it. So,
anyway.
Sorry, Dorothy. So what were you saying about ideas for where to do it then?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I just was sort of floating the idea, but I'd be kind of willing to set it up and look after it. I mean, you already do enough trying to find guests, trying to do the show and
there
everything.
You go. I mean, I set up a thing.
I'd be more than willing to work with you on it.
I set up a thing called cropcirclechat.com, and that's there now, and hasn't really been used
Since 2009.
I mean, nobody bothered with it. So
I'd be quite willing to help promote it.
Cropcirclechat.com.
Do all the other side of things if everyone wanted to.
Yeah. So I mean, what we could do is we could put a link for that.
I mean, I'd probably learn more about crop circles by doing it than I already know.
Mm. Well,
I'm quite interested in learning more about all the different places and.
Yeah. Well, what I could do is anyone who wants to sign up for this Crop Circle chat thing, sign up for it and start posting on it. I mean,
why don't you just use a Facebook page?
Promote it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we need to link it, I think, to the CircleMakers TV site, because this was an idea I had, because I realised back then that enough wasn't being talked about circle making, so therefore we set this up. But as some people have said, we could have just used the Crop Circle connector. I mean, we could have just carried on using their thing.
Well, I mean, I think you should perhaps use it for the people that sign in on the, people that watch the show week in and week out.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be something that, that they own.
Right.
And then they can talk about stuff, post what they find, and then that will give you ideas to talk about, your next show. And
yeah, well, if you want to set it up yourself, you're more than welcome to do so, and we'll put a link for it on the site so that people can get to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't have set it up myself necessarily. We'd be we'd do it in conjunction with what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, okay. The only thing I'll say is that from my own perspective, I'm concerned about people should probably be anonymous in respect of their details, much like they do on the Crop Circle connector, because that sort of thing can be abused, with people's details being private in one respect, and yet the admins can go and look at who they are and that sort of thing. So I would recommend people.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend that if people do this, that they kind of use a level of anonymity for their own benefit, really, so that people don't sort of target them. In certain ways. We all know
you don't have to put your name.
You don't have to, exactly. Yeah. So that keeps people safe. But yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, you know, either use what's already there or start something completely new. But like I say, I mean, you know, you got one ready made there that just literally needs moderators to go on and start tidying it up and working with it.
Just use that one then.
I mean, it's ready done. It's ready done. Go and have a look at it. If you think it needs something different, you know, then by all means set it up. In fact, if you want, you could. I'll delete the forum, and you can install your own version of a forum. No. You know, and
I just wasn't aware that it was there. To be honest with you.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure many of the people in the chat channel.
No, actually, I've never publicised it. Never publicised it on here. I forgot to. Completely forgot.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do that then.
I mean, but the lack of interest in using it was one of the reasons that I thought, well, let's do this CircleMakersTV thing, because at the end of the day, I mean, there's forums coming out of people's arses, aren't there? You know, I mean, there's so many bloody forums and there's so many web pages on crop circles and there's so much of that stuff, but there's nothing in the way of a TV channel. And I thought, well, that's got to be unique, isn't it? So, and thankfully,
I think to link that to the TV channel that you obviously, you know.
Yep. Get the conversation going.
People, yeah.
Absolutely.
Can keep chatting about stuff. You can check in on it, and then it will give you ideas for your next shows.
Yep, sure.
And whatnot.
Yeah, and I mean, I really don't believe myself in ruthless sort of pruning of these forums that you see going on. I prefer to kind of let people have a chat and leave the threads on there forever. You know, and because at the end of the day, somebody in 10 years' time might come along and type in a string, they're looking for something, and it'll go, yeah, we've got that. That was talked about 10 years ago. Yeah. You know?
Well, you know, I run a gaming forum, and it's never been cleaned up since the 5 years it's been running, and it's just people keep complaining. This is too complicated. There's too much stuff on there.
You're the perfect person to deal with.
You know, we never prune it. It's just it's all there.
Well, what you can do, you see, I mean, I think the best way to do is you don't prune and delete. What you do is you move stuff from the actives into the older inactives. And then they're still there if people want to look at things that are very old, but you've got the newer stuff, which obviously moves its way to the top. And then you have an archive of older stuff, which if you don't want to go in there because you don't want to see all the thousands of posts that are there, then don't go in there.
I kind of really wanted to take this off air, but because it's getting probably boring for everyone else to listen to.
Well, I don't know. No, it's...
you know, the active topics will always come to the top, you know.
Yeah.
That's the way the forum works. But then if a topic becomes inactive, it'll, you know, people won't look at it. Yeah.
So there we are. I mean, if somebody wants to... Roger CCC is saying, nice to hear your voice, Dorothy. So you have a fan there.
Thank you very much, Roger. I love you too, man.
Yeah, get a hotel room. So yeah, okay. Well, we'll do that. We'll take that idea on board, and we'll start to put it on the site now. And we'll if you want to become a moderator for that, if you can help out. By all means, you know, I'll up your status so that you can do that if you want to sort of have a look.
I've got time, but I don't know much about crop circles. But
You've got time, okay.
Plenty of moderating experience.
Oh well, there you go. That's what you need. You know what you're doing. That's half the battle, isn't it? So you know.
If you've got any nasty people on there that are just trolls and things, you know, you need to deal with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, there's always room for people to have, you know, stark opinions. I mean, I
think it'd be an opportunity for me to learn a bit more about the subject.
Sorry. I just spat all over AgentS. I'm sorry.
It's finding quite difficult when you talk about researchers.
Not your fucking germs.
Specific designs and places. I don't know anything about them, but I just know what I'm interested in.
I don't know where that's been. Put it away.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I've closed down.
Fucking hell, haven't you?
No, I've got professional gear for that.
Yeah.
Up on the shelf at the back. Don't need a toilet roll. That's old school. Yeah.
Oh.
And Hoovers suck. Fuck that shit.
They suck, do they?
Yeah.
I just wonder if, like you say, it's one of these things. You don't know if it's going to be used or it's just a waste of time. But
Or try
considering-
it. Sorry, look at my professionalism. He's like, oh, I'm fucking tired. Oh. That's because I've been buggering around with my aircraft all today. So yeah.
Some of us
we
have
could
been
have
working
like a
all day.
special section, Matthew's aircraft, and who wants to come and give him some money and go flying.
Yeah. Well, I did. Somebody sent me a thing saying I'd like to donate to your show on PayPal. Do you think I can find the fucking email? It's lost the fucking.
You're not joking.
Somebody wants to give him money. Gone.
Fucking dickhead.
Yeah. So if you're still out there, whoever that was, it was a lovely sentiment, and if you come catch us again, tell me again.
What was
'Cause
the
I
name,
can't
what's the
e-
name of your
oh.
aircraft? Slack, is it?
Slack.
Yeah.
G Slack. G
Capi-
Slack.
Capital letters.
G-Slack, yeah, did you choose that?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. It was Golf Charlie Bravo X-Ray Hotel before, which, what the fuck does that mean?
I noticed that I thought,
Yeah, G Slack.
G-Slack, I just think you
And
never choose
you
that,
can't
did
work
you?
out because the G means UK, so that's fixed. You can't change that.
Yeah.
But the Slack bit is what I chose, and then but people end up thinking that you mean it's like G strap, like G Slack strap, G slap strap. Yeah, but it's mostly to do with the Church of the Subgenius that I'm very keen on their principles, and Bob.
What? Don't work.
I'm a reverend minister in the church, by the way. I don't know if anybody happens to know that, but
Well, the Church of Slack.
Church of Subgenius, yeah, and they preach slack, that you must take time off, and don't work too hard, and if you don't like your job, you must quit your job for Bob, because Bob Dobbs is the head of the Church of the Subgenius. I even carry the card with me, actually. You see if here's the normal card. This is the normal card, so it's Mr. Doctor Professor Circlemaker, because you're allowed to give yourself titles in this church. So I'm doing what Glickman.
Why are you not a professor then?
Why?
Professor, doctors.
Well, Professor Doctor Circlemaker. There we are. So can I fucking left is right and right is left for these bloody things, isn't it? So there we are. So it's the Church of the Subgenius. That's my official business card from them, and and it allows me to do certain things. I'm allowed to perform marriages as a reverend, so I can perform short-term marriages, some of them lasting just 24 hours, so you can have all of the fun with none of the guilt. That's the thing. So you can have they don't bother with these figures like Jesus and Buddha, because they take a lot of effort, and
It's all Elvis, isn't it?
well, yeah, if you're going to meditate for like years, it's quite boring, isn't it? I mean, what you want is a short duration personal savior. Somebody who lasts a couple of days, a week. When you get bored, you can just change. You can just move on. So the church offers that. You can.
Is Brian May a minister?
Well, I know David Byrne is. David Byrne is in the Church of the Subgenius. And I mean, unlike churches like Scientology, which say, no, we're not after your money, the Church of the Subgenius actually tells you the truth, because that is what they're after. As they say, that's what we're totally after, is your money. Yeah, and
I'd join if they gave me some money.
well, but you have eternal salvation, you see, or triple your money back. That's the guarantee they give.
I don't get any of it.
Yeah, if you join, right, then when the end of the world comes, saucers will land, and you get taken on board and taken off the planet. You get to watch the destruction of Earth from space. Okay, and that only costs $30. And if you don't get taken off and saved, you get triple your money back. So
Can I pay that for you?
Sorry?
Can I pay that through you?
You could, but you could just send it directly to the church, and you'd get your cards quicker by doing that. You can pay online anyway. You can pay for with PayPal or something, or a credit card online. It really does exist, And this opens doors. I guarantee you, this opens doors. If you go to places like Amsterdam, and you wave your Subgenius card around, doors open. Yeah, so I can perform sermonizings, harangues, invocations, exorcisms, marriages, baptisms, sacrifices, seances, hypnosises, levitations, the casting out of false prophets like Michael Glickman, and I do that regularly.
Levitation.
Yeah.
I want a levitation.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. The sacramentality of the Eucharist. Healings, and I can also do sickenings as well, so instead of healing people you can just make them sick. Miracles, I can do insane phenomena and prophesizing. Alien contact, that's me. I mean, look, alien contact, I mean, I'm fucking living the dream. I'm living the frigging dream. But because of my good work towards the church, they upped my status and they gave me a gold card, but I can't find it at the moment. It's in here somewhere. I'll probably keep that in the different side of my wallet. But I'm actually a gold-carrying card member of the Church of the Subgenius. So
I can't see any of this. I have to close it all down.
Beat that. Beat that. That's all I can say. So I don't know where it is now. It's in here somewhere, but I've lost it. But yes, so join the Church of the Subgenius today. And eternal salvation or triple your money back. There's my card for my flying. So it's my British Microlight Association card. What else have we got in here?
I actually went to Tesco's today and I saw that it wasn't buy one get one free. It was buy one get two free.
Yeah, I've seen that happening in supermarkets now. Yeah, fucking desperate, aren't they? Fucking
buy one get two free.
Yeah, but what of course they don't tell you is that they buy a packet of Duracells in, and it actually costs them £1. Okay, they go on the shelves for £4.59. Yeah, and then they go, oh look, but what we'll do is we'll give you 2 packs for the price of 1, but it only costs them £2. So, yeah, it's all bollocks, isn't it? Really. I don't go to the big supermarkets because of the mind games they play with you, moving stuff around on the shelves, the types of games they play where you look down at a can of Coke or a bottle of Coke and it says on offer now, only 59 pence. You pick it up, you walk to the till, and they go, that'll be £1.89 please, and you go, oh, it's 59 pence, and you go back there with a fucking guy, and he goes, oh no, that thing is for that can of Coke down there, this can of Coke on the left. Yeah, the rest of the cans of Coke are £1.89. Yeah. And they play those sorts of games with you all the fucking time, and it just pisses me off, so I just don't go in there. I just go to Lidl's. Save a lot of money. I come out with a bag of shopping from Lidl's, £10. Yeah? Come out of Morrison's or Safeways, that'll be 30 fucking quid a bag. You just know it. Anyway, we're getting on to shopping now. It's quite boring, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Boring.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not suggesting that the topic of conversation had deviated into boring areas. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. No. Yeah, but we know the weather and all that sort of stuff. We have to sort of steer a certain path. Yeah, it was a very nice day today. Yes, I did. I stood in the sun and it was lovely. Yes, there we go. So, right. I think we're at the end of the show now, don't you? I think we should pack it up. But there we go. So next week we shall see if we can get a guest on. If you think you can do better than I can, and let's face it, you probably can, then you get the guest and I'll put them on. I'd like that. Let's make you the production staff. So thank you, Dorothy, for your call, and we shall speak to you soon. Thank you very much for being the person that actually bothered to call in as well.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Right, there you go. You can probably drop that one now because he's just going to listen to us on his normal thing. Right, so there we go. This is CirclemakersTV. You have been watching AgentS and Mr. Matthew Williams, and we hope that you will pop back next week to see whether we're here, and if not, we shall let you know via YouTube and via the website CirclemakersTV.org if it's not going to happen. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll end up doing it probably anyway. I have still got the same duvet cover on. Yeah, it's quite good. I like it. It's good. So, okay, with that bombshell of my duvet, we shall say goodnight. So thank you for tuning in, and we shall catch you next week. And somewhere there's a button that you press and then this happens. So I reckon that Roger CCC fancies Dorothy. What do you reckon?
I reckon it's the other way around, actually.
I reckon, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't like compliment somebody like that otherwise, would you?
No,
I reckon.
definitely
Oh no, the mic's on!
not. Idiot!
Oh, the mic's on! Bye bye.